There you go.
And then Pat dropped out. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Lawfully Armed TMT Tuesday Takeover Chat. I'm joined by our regular guest, Justin B. How are you, sir?
Good. Notification went out. Nice.
Hopefully Pat
Push
Wright
notification
gets
has
back
been
in
set.
here. He kicked himself right as we were going live. I don't know what the hang up there is, but we'll figure that out. Looks like everybody's still over at Metal's live stream. They'll come running over. There we go. A wild Pat Wright has joined the stage. Good evening, Pat. How are you, sir?
I am doing wonderful. How about yourself?
No complaints. Scott Hummer, yard dog. Good evening.
I'll tell you what. I don't know if I could get used to this. The high being 30 degrees and it being 8 degrees at night. I don't know if I could get used to this shit. It's cold.
One down. Yeah, it's been like 14 degrees. I think at night maybe it's been single degrees, but I've been going in late to avoid, kind of the gnarliest of the morning traffic. And so I have, by the time I get out and start the truck, it's usually like 14, 15.
Now my truck ain't built for this weather either. It's been having to sit in the heated garage just in case.
Numero dos. Man, Arkansas got it pretty good because it sleeted and then it snowed and then the next go around it sleeted again. So we got like an ice cream sandwich. It's everywhere that they've not cleared it. It's just hard packed now. Like our parking lot today at work was anywhere from 2 inches to probably almost 4 inches of just hard packed ice. In some spots, if it had warmed up underneath, you could chip at it and break big chunks off, shovel big scoops. But man, a lot of those places, it's slick. It's like a skating rink. And it probably will be for another 2 or 3 days. Later in the week, it's supposed to finally get up above freezing. Like the low is supposed to be like just at freezing. So in a couple of days, it'll melt off.
So it's just
finally getting major. Well, the refreeze is what gets you. They've called school for Wednesday everywhere, 50 miles around.
They canceled school?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, yep, we're not built for this.
Well, they've got to be able to get to the rural kids. So, even if they had the main roads in town clear.
Oh, yeah, the school buses.
The kids that live out of town.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, good point. Didn't think of that.
Scott Hummer says that the roads in Fort Worth are still covered in ice. I believe that. I don't think the majority of Texas's infrastructure, the road departments and stuff, are built for clearing gratuitous amounts of ice and snow. What are you laughing at, Heathcliff? You find a piece of candy in your pocket?
I mean, it's one of those places. Like it happens, but it doesn't happen often enough for them to pay for the trucks and shit. And it's not like they could drive in from anywhere else because they were all working. So,
shout out to Jay at Prepared Citizens for making this sweet shirt. It's light and wispy. And so you don't forget you're an American. There's nothing on the other side. So I guess if you wanted to put your personal logo or whatever on there, get your local Vietnamese seamstress.
That reminds me, where's my other phone? I need to put in an order with him. Thanks for the reminder.
Oh, down here in South Central PA, I feel like we didn't get maybe 12 inches at the most, probably closer to 8 to 10. And then we got the sleet on top of that. And late morning, by the time I decided to go outside, I just let it go all day long. I didn't even start messing with anything until the next day. And I think that ice had packed it down. So there's a couple spots where like you wouldn't break through. I'm 280 pounds and not breaking through the ice, so it was pretty thick in a couple of places. But ye old snowblower didn't have any issues. It just powered through all that shit.
Now that we're 6 minutes in, if you're here, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whichever you think we deserve. And sound off in the chat. Let us know you're here.
The thumbs down is not an option.
They did away with it, didn't they?
They're
No.
not.
You can do a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It doesn't matter. I think the interaction
those
goes either way.
Those other two aren't even drunk yet. There's no reason to thumbs down. We haven't offended
Just
anybody yet.
Bow, bow, bow.
No offenses just out yet.
Oh, my son's home from work. That makes me happy.
Yard dog
I
says
don't
tractor trailers don't like the cold either. I've been messing with frozen brakes for the last couple of days.
Ooh.
Yep. Don't set your trailer brakes ever. Not when it's cold like that. You'll be stuck.
Can't drag them loose.
They're air brakes, right?
Yep. The air holds them open. They're sprung closed. And if
so if you park, you can't get the ice out of the spring coils.
I guess that's what happens. It needs the air pressure to push it open, and it's not enough.
Yeah, but you can just drag them open. You can just drag them and pull them loose, right?
Not if there's ice and snow on the road.
No.
If you can find some bare road and rock it, sometimes you can get away with it. But you better not go out on the public streets dragging your ass around.
He said the moisture from the air in the airlines and in the tank is what does it.
Not if you're purging your tanks. If anything, the pads are just frozen to the metal. If you got enough water to freeze in your airlines and tanks and shit, you're not maintaining your equipment.
You're not doing your walk around.
Yeah, I do. When I do my walk around, I start at the back and I bump all the tires. And I pull the air, the purge valve on the airlines as I walk by, or on the air tanks.
He said, "Don't drag your trailer; you'll mess up the tires."
Most of us don't like those tires anyway.
If you're on snow and ice, it won't hurt, but if you get on blacktop, you certainly will. It doesn't take long either.
Ball them out.
Yeah, and that's illegal. If they're flat spotted, they're illegal. You got to change them out. So you can drag them just a couple of feet, like 10 feet, and you can ruin a set of tires.
Really? That quick of a distance? I didn't know that. Because
It don't take much.
I've seen them drag a few times.
I got towed. I got towed one time, and he didn't get my ass off the ground far enough. So my front set of drive tires were just touching the road as we were going down the highway, and he flat spotted my fucking tires. I even gave that guy like a $40 tip. I was so pissed when I figured out what he did.
Made you want to give him a different kind of tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to see like the response that I put underneath your link.
Yeah, I saw that. The old Acme train.
I watched that a couple times. If you watch to the very end, there's like some fluid starts coming out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
I guess metal's still going.
Real quick.
We were supposed to have Rebel Spirit Operations on tonight on TMT, so we've been trying to get him back in for a while. He just kept missing us. His work schedule was off. He told me to give him a heads up, so I did, and we were good to go. And then TMT had to reschedule for work obligations in the morning, and then Rebel said he might not make it. I told him I'd send him the link anyways. Really liking that gas pedal. Excuse me, it's not a gas pedal because that's a trademark term. Everybody says it like Kleenex. But gas pedal is trademark. It's actually.
Oh, it is?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's actually the Black Steel USA. Dig it out of here because I've been carrying it around in my man purse for 3 weeks nearly. It's actually the Black Steel USA. Cover this part up. Grip control patented. I have to cover it up because where my finger's at, I didn't know this till I ordered it and got it in. They laser engrave your name on the tin.
Said I was going to do. I think they only do that for the wrong-handed people.
Probably, but it just comes in like a little pellet tin looking thing. And in the case of the PDP, it comes with a little cruciform tool, I guess, to put it on there and adjust it. And then something else, and then that's just the factory PDP latch, so I don't lose it for now. I got to get out and play with it.
I do got to congratulate them on that one, though. That was good thinking on their part. It really was. Like the reason, the thought that nobody else came out with that before them is mind blowing.
I guess I don't know if that's mirror image to YouTube or not. Let me see.
No, it's not actually. It's reading correctly.
Okay, cool. So, anyways, Black Steel USA. If you use the coupon code Rebel Spirit Operations 15, all one word, you save 15% at checkout. Rebel's got him a coupon code. If you check out his channel, Rebel Spirit Operations, he's got several videos using the product. Rebel is a friend of the channel.
He's also got some other good content up in there too.
He's got some great content. Let's see, I'll just drop a channel link. Let's see here. Drop it in the comments. Seems like I should say, I don't know about we, but I feel like I have a better time mostly forgetting about the chat and just having a conversation. But there's Rebel Spirit. He's a good dude. That doesn't say his name in it at all. Let's see here. Let's go to his actual channel. We will just share that. Share channel. Rebel Spirit Operations. He's based out of KC Mo, up to the north. which is in a realistic distance for a meetup someday. We have a range day or something. Maybe I can let him learn me about his belt kit life. He's all about the belt kit. He's super into that. Pat, you still hip to your soldering gear, uh, saw, gunner kit, or whatever?
The saw rig,
Yeah.
I've it's sitting empty right now. I moved over to a like a $40 Amazon miniature rig. For my intended purposes, it's a bit much. Like if I wanted to just cat around all day long with something on, I don't think I would have. I don't think I would stick with that. If it's something that like I keep in my side by side or my truck or something, I might consider loading it back up. But right now I'm going small. I got that huge rucksack, and now I'm packing little bags. Try to do more with less.
Definitely. Justin, what's your go-to way to run out of the house naked but armed?
Like with medical, I keep my medical bags in all the vehicles that are like are more on the advanced side. Now I can say every vehicle has a fairly advanced medical kit, but if I'm running out naked or whatever, I'm just gonna grab one of the duty belts that are hanging up, unfortunately.
Well, the stack of totes that I'm using right now is a desk. This immediate tote under me has got all my frontline kit in it. I'm still on that micro training rig from Helicantex. Does the 4 AR mags, and then it's got like an admin pouch in the front, and then the optional dump pouch that's removable, or not dump pouch, FUPA dangler. What am I trying to say? And then to either side of the admin pouch stitched in, there's 2 pistol mag pouches that you can use for pistol mags or uh, like flashlight, multi-tool, whatever. But I've seen there's a mod on Reddit where a dude gives like the instructions. He cut the stitch and took 2 of the pistol mag pouches off, and it converts it to Molly, so that you can put another rifle mag pouch. Someday I just got to sit down with the tools and material to make that conversion, because I've got a spare double rifle mag pouch that I could stick on there, and that'd get me to that plus me up to 6 rifle mags. I'd retain the 2 pistol mag pouches just to have the flashlight and the multi-tool there at the front where it's, utilitarian. I probably would not run, in most scenarios anyways, spare pistol mags on that line of kit, because my delineation thought is as you turn out, the escalating layers of gear, when you go from being like concealed carry to overt, the battle belt, you're going to move the pistol over to the battle belt, and I'm going to have 3 mags on that. That way, if I need to bail out of the chest kit, I've still got the pistol and the spare mags for that. But I do run 1 rifle mag pouch weak side on the belt.
I think on my AR setup, I think it's got the double stack pistols on it, just like randomly there, but it's not anything. I think it's just I have a couple there.
It says we've got 4 watching. Sound off, let us know you're here. If you have any subjects you want us to talk about, bring them up. We'll discuss them now. I won't touch any live pews. For those just getting in here, I will address that. I misspoke the other night on TMT's chat about the tweet that Donald Trump made, or the truth, the social, I don't know what they call them. What do they call it? Truth? I don't know. What do they call it when somebody posts on Truth Social?
I think it's called a truth and a retruth.
Somebody had shared one over on Bobby Bama's, and I had seen it elsewhere on social media, but somebody shared it on Bobby Bama's. I'm scrolling back to read it because I want to read it again and then address it. It's been confirmed that was fake. I should have known better.
Posted then, my fault.
Back to yesterday, but I'm not to it yet. Bobby Bama's Discord has become quite active. Lots of good people there. We'll see. Back to it. I want to read it verbatim. There we go. So this was the fake tweet at Real Donald Trump. Yeah, you were the one that shared it. He had a gun. Only criminals carry guns on our streets. We need law and order. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And I should have known because he doesn't sign off like that. He just says what he thinks, just like he just farts it from his fingertips to your ears or to your eyes. That was a fake tweet. He didn't say that. He did throw a conniption about the guy having 2 spare mags. And the DOJ, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi have made a big deal about the gun and the round count of ammo that the guy had, which I think is superfluous. Brandon Herrera / Donut Operator addressed it in a video that they posted today, making a point that you wouldn't walk around Minneapolis without a gun, let alone a spare mag yourself. Of course, Brandon Herrera said, in fact, he wouldn't even be there at all. Oh, we got a wild TMT in the back. I thought you had to go to sleep, TMT.
I do. I figure if I go to bed at 9, I'll be okay.
Well, you sound froggy as fuck.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. That's also why I haven't had a live stream in a minute.
That's a good reason. Here, I'll turn my camera off so we can all have our cameras off. I just feel like when the camera's on, it helps like give people something to look at. So it's good. I had to issue a retraction.
New JOB is going good. It's actually easier than what I expected.
That's good. Don't let them know that it's easier, then you'll set the bar higher. That's my single greatest regret.
All the other old guys
don't
want to work as much as I do. I'm already working circles around them.
Well, pace yourself. Leave something to aspire for that performance raise.
Yeah.
So that's probably my single greatest regret is being too good, because then when you have a bad day and you don't perform to the bar that you set for yourself, all of a sudden you're a problem.
Right.
That's what I'm doing at my next job.
Tonight's live chat brought to you by White Claw Surge.
Oh my God, ACR would
At this
not
moment, I don't care. This is my channel, not ACR's.
Like, dang, Lockley hit subs, and now
this one we're tasting the passion fruit. I'm passionate about it. TMT's a fruit. Well, TMT, I guess I'm officially a truck guy now. I hadn't wrecked in 2 days. It being 2-wheel drive, it's a really weird feeling when you get on the slushy slurp. What am I looking at?
That's my $40 Amazonian chest rig.
Is that the Crydex or whatever? Look at them unbroken
No,
boots.
it's I just got those. Those are that's one Tigress.
Okay, that'd been my
Way to go,
second guess.
Tigers.
And I put a H harness on it, but I went back to the straps, the little spaghetti straps that it came with, because the H harness didn't fit on it right.
Yeah, in concept, I want to prefer an H harness, but I'm not built for the H harnesses the way that they do them. Like it, I
I'm a
don't
really
know.
big
Like
fan of H
like I
harnesses.
always end up with spare material in the back. You know, it's like I
Yeah,
either
I'm
need to like grow some obscene traps because like
Yeah,
I'd
you're
like
not
to get
connected
that.
behind them.
I'd like to get that inverted Dorito thing going on. You know, really flare my delts and my traps and kind of throw the Cobra hood up. I'm not there yet. I will be.
That's about all I got
Give
going
Daddy
besides my
time.
food. Yeah, my neck's like a straight triangle from the top of my shoulder. I don't have differential between my shoulders and that.
Yeah, this thing is not too bad. Like I got it, just took a chance on it, and I'm not like super thrilled with it. Like there's no customization; you get what you get. But you can you run 4 mags across the back, and you got 2 more pouches in front of that. One of them's rocking a little 20 rounder in one side, and my radio in the other.
There you go. It's got a
I need to get
dongle.
that. I need to get that little teeny antenna from Jay, because that one just gets stuck on every damn thing.
Yeah, I got the long ones from Jay. That you can run it up the side of that strap really easy.
Yeah, I'm going away from the I want my radio signal to go as far as possible to possibly I only want my radio signal to go, you know, to
Gotta get
my teammates.
that Aberry.
Fair
Oh
enough.
shit, my radio's on. I'm glad nothing transmitted. I forgot I left it on the other day. I was listening to police scanners working accidents. Just left it on the hook.
You gotta buy the dew dangler separately, but inside the dangler I got my bear kit. I think that's from a bare minimum. That's
Yeah.
one of them. But it zips on there, and I found this zipper coming undone when I went down and rucked around with Twin a little bit. So I need to throw a stitch or 2 in there so it doesn't come undone.
No harm in that. Wow, we got everybody. Justin, what are
I
you
got
showing
my
off your cat's rig?
It's what I brought with me. Yes, 16 rounds of pistol.
16 rounds. Holy shit. 16 mags.
Yeah, 16 mag pistol. Just because
Clarify.
that's what
You have 16 individual magazines, or you have a 16 round?
double stack.
Damn.
Then I haven't ever added anything else to it. It's just a quick little.
Dude, that's still my favorite. I need to get a dongler that works with that because my favorite chest rig is still the taps rig, dude. It's the best.
Well, and the reason why
it's good
I have that one is because I was at a surplus and I found it there for like $30, and I was like, hell yeah, give me 2.
Damn, that's cheap. I'm jealous.
Yeah, so I bought one for my wife and one for me because her favorite is the AR pattern 9. So
Yeah. Any recommendations on a dongler for the taps rig there? Anybody, I guess?
It's Dangler.
It's a
Dangler.
dongler here in Nebraska.
I think Pat would have a better recommendation for that. He's pretty well versed on kit.
I thought you were making reference to how old I am and how low they hang.
No, I taped myself on it.
Not
He made me knock my radio over. We're balancing it out with some fine
well, the
federal
other good
premium
thing I like
water.
about this one is I can always, if I want to throw a radio in it in one of the pistol pouches, I can. One of the mag pouches I can.
And this is the kit. This is the kit I run a belt with.
Hang on, let me make you big. There we go.
I got my decked out 43X on the little drop holster there. Dump pouch, which I think is out of style now. I don't think anybody's running dump pouches anymore.
I have a dump pouch on my belt.
I can get 3 AR mags in here, but I usually only run 2.
You want to know
it just
why
gets
the dump
too
pouch
freaking big.
has fallen out of style there, Pat? It's because everybody wants to play like military, but we don't get to run to the next supply cache of and restock all of our gear. We have to retain our mags because I don't have somewhere to go and get. After I run 20 mags, I don't want. I'm missing 20 mags. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, they still, depending on the branch, depending on the unit, they still run dump pouches.
Yeah, I heard there was some international training exercise going on, and the other countries were running around behind the U.S. guys because they were all just dropping their mags wherever they were, and those other guys were just picking them up.
Oh yeah, every time we've got foreign units training in my area, they come in and like buy whole shelves of PMags. Even though they're ITAR controlled, I don't think anybody cares if they ship them home in their government issued hard cases or whatever. So they'll come in and spend their own money, buy whole shelves or whole pegs of PMags.
Probably they probably get reimbursed from the military. They're like, "Thanks for helping us all out with logistics, soldier."
I mean, I appreciate their business. Nobody's getting rich selling PMags. Not in a free state under normal conditions. But I mean, in a free state under normal conditions, they're easy to replace. So I will happily sell a dude 10 PMags and then make $3, $4 on each mag and then turn around and order some more. No problem with that. Makes me happy.
Yes, sir.
It's quality product you can stand behind. Like,
what do you sell a PMag for? Like a Gen
M2's the everyday price is $12.95. I'd like it to be less than that. I don't set the prices. I don't set the margins.
And you can make $3 or $4 off of that.
Yeah. Pat, if you ever need to get some wholesale mags, you can message me.
When PSA and the like do those
usually
bundles,
when they're about
like the 10 PMags,
usually when they're about $8 a piece, that's when I'll start ordering a bunch. I don't know if we'll ever see that again.
No, they still happen a few times a year. Like on the you know what discount site, they dip that low several times a year actually.
And that's what I was going to say. When Palmetto does like a bundle, with some product of theirs coupled with like 10 PMags, and they blow it out, they're using their product as the loss leader.
Yeah, then they do like the
and selling you the PMags basically at cost, and that's just to move inventory. Kind of a rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, I was looking at getting that Vortex red dot for the Gen 3 sub 2K, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna get it, I might as well spend the extra $20 to get 10 PMags with it.
I saw another deal today too with a Vortex and a bolt and a bolt carrier for a couple hundred muffins. I was like, oh, do need another bolt.
Old man Bonewrinkle said that he got GI mags from PSA 7 years ago at $7 a pop. Good for you, sir.
Yeah, if you're into that.
They give you the vibe, but they're the PMags are a superior product to the GI Mags. They just are. I know they don't fit in all the rigs the right way. You got to pay attention to that. Like muffin
Yeah, I was
tops,
about to say you can
taps
actually
rig.
you can fit more mags in if you're using the aluminum mags.
Yep.
Now,
Hey,
most of them are patterned.
And they all have anti-tilt followers now. So is there an issue with them at all?
I
I don't
mean,
know
they
how
just
many
don't.
of
They
those
just
are
don't
on
bounce
the
back.
secondary market though. For
You
that
guys
cheap.
hadn't tried this stuff out yet. It's damn blur effect. So
Nope.
it's marketed as Patriot Sports LLC 2A ammo. It's made by a Czech firm that, because I want to say it, I can't think of it. There we go. Let's see. STV Technologies. It comes packaged and looks extremely similar to the SB ammo. Reasonably clean, great performing, 124 grain FMJ. It's not wimpy. No, it's not NATO hot. The Europeans, that's one thing they get right. They don't skimp on the ammo generally.
Yeah, but is it cheaper than S&B?
Yep. Our everyday price is $12.99. We sell it by the case for $2.19. So that breaks out to like $10.90 something a box.
That's usually what I get the S&B on sale at. So
Wholesale is
bad.
just under 10.
Yeah, that's not
I
bad.
was going to
if
buy a
you
whole
pay
case,
prices.
but I went ahead. Since I get it at cost anyways, it doesn't behoove me to buy it by the case. So just to start out, because I've still got a bunch of 124 grain Blazer. And those PDPs seem to really like the Blazer. But we've sold a bunch of that ammo already. And I know people have shot them in PDPs. I'm hoping when the weather improves next week to get out to the range finally. Now that I've been a member for almost a whole month. And rip some of that so that way when people go, have you shot it? I can say yes.
As a matter of fact,
I like selling stuff in confidence. I'm not fit to be a liar.
I don't know. I'm pretty happy with some PMC or some Winchester white brass.
Oh
or some
yeah.
Remington.
Yeah. I like PMC rifle ammo. That PMC X-Tac 556 is the tits.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it. I don't even mind the PMC bronze. I got a shitload of that because every once in a while I can still catch it on sale for $6.99 muffins or $7.99 muffins. Just it's cheap for 20 rounds.
Well, you're doing good. Somebody like bought a bunch of it a long time ago and is struggling to get rid of it because that's below wholesale.
Tractor Supply. The highest they'll ever mark that's $8.99, but you can get the X-Tac for that price too. So
you're gonna make me travel to Tractor Supply just to get a better deal than.
I mean,
I'm not driving to Tractor Supply in Nebraska, but
no.
that's how much. That's how
Ixnay
much
on the
down
Price
here.
Bay location A. Yeah.
Right.
Pat DM me sometime, and we'll do some discussing. I'll make it worth your while to swing wide.
He's gonna spread his cheeks.
Spread something.
Probably
his wallet. Probably his wallet.
I'm getting broke now. I gotta stop spending and missing work.
Yeah, I understand that.
It cost me technically $4,000 every week we miss. Just about every week we miss work.
You better get your ass back on the road.
They got to get the road cleared. half his weekly treks covered in snow right now. That's
true.
why we've got the description is excuse me. The description of this video was well, I forgot now. Retractions. Sorry, it's the medication.
The liquid medication.
Retractions whiteout. No, it was just the other medication. Seizure medication. What retractions? Oh, it's in the description. Somebody that's watching the video on YouTube, tell me what it says. It's like retractions, whiteouts, and white claws.
TMT Takeover chat.
Yeah, but the description of the video.
Yeah, we only see the only.
Anywho, yeah, all of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, most of Texas, everything from Arkansas over to I don't know, at least Alabama got the what for.
Yeah, we made the right call. I saw all the videos and stuff out there, all the trucks wrecked and cars wrecked and 100-car pileups. We made the right decision not going, but it definitely stings the pocketbook when we both don't go to work.
Yeah, but man, if you jackknife a truck or whatever, mess up, like that's a bad deal. There was a spot
Yeah,
just into
we'll miss
Arkansas.
a whole lot more than a week if that happens. We'll probably get fired.
There was a spot on 40 just coming into Arkansas where they had two semi trucks jackknife just before an overpass, and I guess one of them like just totaled a state troopers unit that had somebody pulled over, was assisting a motorist or something. And
Oh, that's so good.
that tractor trailer just pummeled that unit.
Yeah, they don't stop. It's kind of like one of those unstoppable forces meets an immovable object.
He
Well, the
moved
truck
that
is
state trooper car, I promise.
that,
He tuna canned it.
yeah, those trucks are basically immovable objects or unstoppable forces.
Man, we were pulling some like disappointing numbers. It's telling me we've got 2 people watching. It was Old Man Buttwrinkles and one other person. We're doing bad.
We're just hanging out. It's fine.
It's OMBW is at work.
If I would be on right now, we'd probably pull like 4 or 5 million.
I know.
Minimum.
You should have just. You're here. You should have just gone ahead and done yours and let us play second fiddle to you. That's how we all prefer it.
I understand. I got
30%
left on my phone. I'm probably going to call it here in about 5 minutes or so.
I do greatly appreciate everyone getting me to 200 subs. I didn't.
Yes, sir.
Well,
I can
got
tell you
double
18
me.
months ago, I'd have never expected that. You hadn't been doing any on the road chats. You just gotta show us the open road and talk at us. We like that.
Yeah.
Just don't say when I'm close.
I'm
trusting you.
Away from 1,000, y'all.
We're gonna get you there.
I'm 900 away from 1,000.
Well, that's pretty close. We'll get you there.
I can tell you, I should have ran it vertical. The StreamYard was like, we recommend horizontal, and I was like, horizontal is better for everybody putting stuff on screen. I'm wrong. Old Man Buttwrinkles is not at work. My apologies, good sir. I wish I had some hand props that wouldn't get my channel nuked.
Yeah.
And all my fun stuff that doesn't go bang is all still packed away. I called in Saturday because of the snow and made utility of the day, and I managed to unpack and reconsolidate and get rid of 2 of the large totes, like the yellow lid gang looking totes, except most of mine are red.
Nice.
I got rid of 2 of those and then one small 12-gallon tote. And then my one like run out of the house if the house is on fire or insert scenario here tote of food, canned food. I went through that tote and then the rest of the stuff I took out of the pantry. Because that last Wednesday, so I've been in about 12 hours, will have been moved out for a week. I was going through the pantry because I remembered that she started meal prepping right before I left. And I remembered that she said, I got to run to Walmart. I forgot salt. And I was thinking, you dumb bitch, I got salt in the pantry. But I didn't think of that till she'd already left. So when I was kind of making that final pass through the house, I remembered the 2 things of salt in the top of the pantry. And I'm like, hey, if I leave this, will you eat it? And she was like, is it still good? And I was like, it's salt. They mine it from the earth. It doesn't go bad.
Oh no, my 17 million year old salt finally expired.
Right.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, I'll use it. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, because I mean, he still lives there, and I don't wish her ill, but like she's still feeding him, so like I left that. And then what did I pick up next? I picked something else up.
Rice.
Thank you.
She
You
got
gave me the
Pineapple.
story. Yeah, a couple of the bags of the Dollar Tree, just long grain white rice or whatever. I was like, hey, since you eat rice now, because before she didn't eat rice, look at Pat being all schmexy and poured out on the bed. I said, hey, if I leave this rice, will you eat it? She's like, is it so good? And I'm like, yeah, I wrote the Best By date in Sharpie on the front of it real big. It's good for like a long time. She goes, yeah, I'll use it. And then I got to the little cupboard that I had all the like canned fruit and stuff in, which is mostly pineapple, and she doesn't like pineapple. And so I was like, hey, I know you don't like the pineapple, but what about the like sliced peaches and the mandarin oranges? If I leave those, will you eat them? She goes, that's fine. She got tired of me interrupting her at work. She's like, just take what you want and leave the rest. I'll either eat it or I'll get rid of it. And I'm like, getting rid of it's what I'm trying to avoid. I spent 2 years accumulating stuff. If you're not going to eat it, I'll take it. So it turned into me just going through and taking another third of what was in the pantry. So between the tote that I already had, that was the like run out of the house, you know, pretty meat and bean heavy, but like, you know, enough variety of stuff to not go stir crazy. Keep everybody fed for, you know, a week or so, maybe 2 if you stretched it. Turned into me taking like the bottom layer of another one of those 27-gallon totes. So between rotating dates and kind of picking out the stuff that I had a lot of, put that into rotation in the pantry here, and then consolidating all that back into the 127-gallon tote. Because the reality is that one tote was already like all that I could pick up and walk out with. Like I had to waddle to carry it. So if it's going to be a 2-person job, it may as well be a bona fide 2-person job.
Mm-hmm.
And really the goal is to get it all into one of these totes that has wheels on one end. So that way you can just roll it.
Yep.
In time, maybe 2 of them, because it probably, if I added to it, it really would be 2 of these totes. Anyways, I'm gonna buy some more of these $27 Foot Lockers from Walmart. It's got a handle on the front, and then it's got a handle on one side, and then wheels on one end.
Before you do that, look at their they got a Husky one with an extendable handle on it. It's more like a job box style, and it's a little bit heavier duty. It's got
That
bigger wheels on the back.
and that Husky one, I put some of those just through work, man. The Husky and the DeWalt ones that they sell at the Home Depot, they're a little bit more, but they're definitely double the construction.
Yeah,
Or
you may appreciate that.
And I shouldn't say you dumb bitch. That's me. That was an in the moment thought, and I'm salty, but
I'll say it. She's a dumb bitch. Okay. So anyway, I have one of those. I don't know how many gallons it is, but my biggest, like, if I have one and that's it, it's a yellow lid, gang, but I don't think they make them anymore. It's got a really hardcore, thick handle on it with some big wheels on the back. And if I had to take one, that's like the majority of my freeze dried stuff, besides grabbing like 6 buckets, you know, like the Mountain House buckets and the Ready Wise buckets.
Did
Like
you?
I'm grabbing and that.
I feel like I posted it or somebody else posted it. It's been a couple of months. Somebody turned one of those into like a range box. He cut some dividers in, and you could put a rifle and all your kit and gear in there.
I thought that was a Milwaukee Ready box.
I'm super disappointed that I don't have more display space. Because the goal, like I had a little bit of it out, because one year for like Father's Day, she got me a bunch of like little mini shelves that were like, 4 inches deep, and some of them were like, I don't know, 8 to 12 inches wide. And so I had like some decorative, like old boxes of rifle shells and stuff, knickknacks and tchotchkes and whatever. My goal, yes, that too. Once I land somewhere, is to just have the wall adorned with like old boxes.
That'd be cool. I always wanted to do that too, and I had a whole box of them. And then one day, I just said I'm never going to do this project, and I threw them out, and I regret it ever since.
Well, I mean, they don't cost me anything to hang on to them, but
yeah.
I mean, I couldn't actively accumulate a bunch of that right now. But like the old Winchester ammo boxes, or like what I really like are the old boxes that are like half or mostly full.
Yeah, I like the old school. Shotgun
Yeah, this
shell
old
box.
box of Winchester shotgun shells. Golly.
Yep.
Focus.
Classic. That's
Those are
federal, but
Federal. Yeah, Federal, not Winchester. I'm sorry. I had Winchester on the brain because the old handgun boxes. Anyway, Blur notwithstanding, this has got a sticker on it from Walmart for $367. Like this was probably bought in, I don't know, the late 80s, early 90s. And then I've got 5 or 6 boxes of old Chinese ammo, commercially sold Chinese ammo, and that ended in '94. So that stuff's all almost as old as TMT is.
I had some of the really, really old Wolf boxes and Kodiak boxes. Kodiak Gold or whatever it was. Those were cool.
Silver Bear, Brown Bear.
Yeah, Silver Bear. Maybe that's what it was. That was. I don't know. I kind of regret throwing away all them boxes. They were cool.
I've got one seal case of Silver Bear, and I've got one seal case of Brown Bear. It came from the shop before I worked there. They drop into a 50 cal can like perfectly. They leave like half inch of space in the front for a slice of foam and a desiccant pouch. And I really need to pull them out because I need to use the cans. It's hard to get quality, good sealed Milsurp cans still without
I
paying
sort
for
of
them.
just switched to the Plano style ones, man, and I just got over it. And they're
I
lighter.
mean, I've got a bunch of the plastic ones that I use for like ammo I plan to burn up pretty immediately, but like long term, like set it and forget it stuff, I still like to put in the GI 50 cal cans. Because you go
I always
bigger than a 50 cal can and it's a mofo to carry around, and you go smaller than that, 30 cal cans are kind of
yeah.
they
don't know.
weigh 80% of what a 50 cal can does in raw weight, but they don't
But
carry,
the
they carry a
metal
third less volume. I know, but in a pinch, you can crap in it. You can
Make it into a rocket stove.
you make it into a stove. You know, if you needed to, you could fill them full of sand, and that's a pretty decent human barricade.
Yeah.
This one's got 1,100 rounds of mini mags, one box of this Winchester Performance, and then 200 rounds of the Velocitors, the old label. We've changed the label since then.
I need to get more of that.
Quit blurring, god dang it. Anyway.
What's that? The subsonics. I need to get some snake shot. I found out I need snake shot for my 22.
Don't shoot it through your can, man.
No, it's for the
You'll
revolver.
rue that day.
That's how I took care of the prolapse chicken.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that.
I felt really bad. I felt like a failure to that chicken.
I bet it probably took 3 shots.
No, just one. It was gross. I blew its eye out. I felt bad.
You call it
What's
Popeye?
that?
Love that chicken at Popeyes.
I've never actually eaten at Popeyes.
Looks like Pat is watching his son
drive. You practicing for your CDL over there? He's racing.
He's got a good name, Pat.
There you go.
One of my coworkers' husbands has offered me like a racing rig, and I was like, bro, I don't know if this little laptop will do that. And I'm kind of limited.
It made those boxes.
That's cool. It's all the cooler.
What the hell just happened?
I show that guy the kind of dimensions I'm working with here as far as, space. He's like, oh, that might have to wait a while. I was like, yeah. Because he was offering to give me like a spare racing rig. He does the iDrive racing stuff, and like it wins at it, which is kind of cool. I was telling him about Camelot 331. Dude used to work at used to like shift manage GameStop, and then now the dude, like, his name's Cody. He legit drives for NASCAR now.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we lost Pat, and then we regained Pat.
I used to be subbed to Cam a lot. Then I'm subbed. You got boring.
Now he does this cool thing where him and his girlfriend go back and forth, and then if they reach a certain dollar amount of super chats and stuff, he plays the no, not quite that. He takes his shirt off, puts the headband on, and plays the song from Metal Gear Solid 3, 4, I don't remember. Anyway, and then if they hit the next tier above that, like in dollar amount or whatever, she does like the bikini dance. It's kind of dirty feeling by the end of it.
You're dirty.
He's got a pretty good physique going. He works out.
Well, yeah, you got to. If you're racing, you got to work out. Like it's hard on your body.
Man, I don't know if y'all caught Saintly's live stream yesterday about 10, 11 o'clock, but he motivated me. I said I was going to do lunges when I got home, and we weren't busy at all. Like, I can count on one hand all the people we had in like 6 hours yesterday. So I did lunges all around the store. And by the time I got done, I was like, oh, this is going to hurt. And today I was sore. I had to stretch before and after I got in the shower. And then after shucking ice today, I'm going to be stove up when I wake up tomorrow morning. But I'm glutton for punishment. So my intention is to break into the shed in the backyard and get a shovel and clear my mama's driveway off. Because yes, internet, I live at my mama's house at 34 going on 35. It's just a landing pad. But she needs the ice off her driveway so that she can eventually leave the house.
Yeah.
And it's a free workout. There's no workout like honest manual labor. Really. You can pay to go to a gym, or you can just do it.
Yep. That's why I'll never ever get in a fight with the dude who does hay. That guy will knock you the fuck out.
No, those ditch diggers and those farm hands, they're different kind of strong.
I did it for one summer with the guy. Fuck that, dude. I will never ever sling hay bales again. Holy crap.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. I know how big I know hay bales are heavy, but I'll tell you what, after throwing fucking 30 pallets of sod, that shit will freaking make you regret life.
Yep. Yeah.
Those guys, the guys that are out there with the bags of freaking mulch that do a flatbed worth of mulch. Those 4 or 5 guys, don't get into a fist fight with them, boy.
I tell you what, son.
All of those guys are afraid of a mason's tender.
I tell you what,
I don't know what you mean by that. I'm ignorant. What do you mean by a mason's tender? Just go ahead and cook.
The kid that carries like 6 concrete blocks at once and keeps the masons fed.
Yep,
so
they're stacking all day long, stacking.
Damn, yeah. I tell you what, you want to work out when you get a pivot down out here. It gets real wet, right? So it's in the middle of summer, and if the pivot's stuck there, they're sitting there dumping water the whole time, so you can't get the pivot tech. He can't get there other than walking. So you know what you do? You send the kids out with bags of rocks. So you go take your flatbed, or you take your 3/4 ton to Menards or Home Depot or whatever, and you buy all the river rock that you can, and then you just haul it out till you can't walk anymore, till it starts sinking up above your ankles. And then you lay the rock out so you can keep walking. Then you run back and grab another fucking bag and run it back in the cornfield. And in the summer here, that cornfield gets about 140 degrees because of the humidity. So you're doing that in the mud, hauling fucking 40 pounds of rock back and forth through the fucking field, man. Oh my God. That's a fucking workout, bro.
Yeah, the majority of our country, their life is so cushy, they actually have to pay to go somewhere and work out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a reason how Muffin Top had a 6-pack and I could eat anything I wanted to my senior year, man. I was my senior year, I was mostly just, my hardest class was woods, and most of mine was working out, and I TA'd for both the football coaches and the librarians, so I just worked out all day.
There's a 6-pack in there. It's just inside the
Yeah.
fridge.
Yeah, mine's been tucked back inside the house, inside the fridge.
My fear, though, is between in this past week of living here, between being stuffed with carbohydrates and taking the creatine gummies, I feel like once I get back on the scale, I'll probably put back on 5 or 6 pounds. That's what, and I know I'm doing it to myself because y'all saw me have those 3 White Claws. And those just carb water.
Yeah.
But and I've only hit my 10K steps like 2 days in the last week.
Yeah, I'm doing really bad. My steps and stuff. I need to get.
Admittedly, it's it's the taking care of Mama's driveway, but it's also self-serving to go ahead and clear the driveway tomorrow. Because that's my AED can like lock in on that monotask and just execute, and that'll make me feel like I earned lunch or dinner, whichever. I'll probably wait till the sun's pretty high in the sky, so it'll probably be a between lunch and dinner thing tomorrow, and I'll skip breakfast.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you do that.
Justin.
You just, hey neighbor, what's up? And then knock the neighbor's driveway out too.
And I might, because the people immediately next door are good people. They fed me a whole lot as a teenager. Like they're really salty earth people. So I may just do it and surprise them when they come home and they're confused why their driveway is clear, or at least mostly clear. Justin, keep them running. I got to take a leak.
All right.
I took the hard job when we cleared our driveway. I let my son use the snowblower. It's a self-propelled big machine. You don't got to work too hard, but you still do got to hold up on the handles a little bit, so it'll skirt the blacktop.
Yep.
I took the shovel, and our plastic shitty snow shovel wasn't doing shit, so I had to get out just the regular old flat shovel.
Yeah.
And that was a hell of a workout. I felt it the next morning for sure. I felt it that night going to bed. I could hardly get out of bed to go take a leak.
Yeah, dude, moving snow is it's a hell of a workout.
With a crust of ice on top. Wants to be one big chunk and not one little shovelful.
I've never split wood before, but I split, what was it, three trailers worth of freaking wood.
Yeah, that's a workout.
4 days ago in one day, and I was like, holy crap! Like I was hurting.
That's what I'm saying, man. Is like people
hurt.
That SHTF's easy, man. When you do wood detail, like chopping down trees, delimbing them, cutting them up, and then cutting them into logs, man, that's an all week deal, bro. And that's one tree, and then you got to get up and do it again because you need all that firewood for the winter in SHTF.
You need it seasoned. You need it freaking. Like, geez, I was lucky I was just splitting the logs, but geez, that was something I've done. I'm in my 30s. That hurt.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of farmers around here in the wintertime when they're slow. They're either moving cows or they're cutting trees to keep their hours up in the winter,
Yeah.
Or they're remodeling part of their house, or remodeling part of their shop, or tearing apart all their tractors and shit.
Doing all the stuff that they don't got time to do while they're out there working 12 hours a day.
Oh yeah, I cut a lot of tree lines in high school with farmers. It's a lot of fucking work, man.
Well, I started. I guess you could call it fasting. I stopped eating at 2 p.m. and I don't eat again until the following morning, like 8, 9 o'clock, maybe a little earlier. And it did something. I just went and got my physical done. Tuesday of last week.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was up in the 290s before, and I was at 285 with all my clothes on when I went in there. So it's doing something.
Yeah.
Or else I just took a really deuce at
Well,
the right time.
not eating in the
Yeah.
evening and stuff too, because like most Americans, we like to eat, you know, a large dinner, but that's
Mhm.
ass backwards from what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to
Yeah,
start off
maybe
heavy
a
and
large lunch.
smaller, right?
Yeah, you should eat. Really, you should just eat like snack throughout the day, kind of graze, so that way you don't eat too much.
That's
But my problem
kind of what
is,
I've been doing. I'll have a decent low carb breakfast. Usually it's just eggs with like turkey sausage in it. And
Mhm.
sometimes I'll have a couple strips of bacon. And then I'll snack on some low carb stuff. And then around 2 o'clock, I try and eat. That's like my lunch. I'll eat something big and then just fucking suffer until the next morning.
yeah,
It's being empty stomach and low sugar when you go to sleep. There's something about that that's working.
yeah. I I do pretty much protein and veg, and then I tell you what, if you want some snacks that have like no calories, that's not just like pickles or whatever or celery, rice cakes have like no freaking calories, and you can just eat the crap out of them. And then
I thought
you
about
can eat
rice cake.
yeah,
I
they're
com-
like 30 calories for the whole thing. So you can eat like 3 or 4 of those, and then you're stuffed. It's like eating popcorn, but like just a little bit more mobile.
I feel
Or
like there's less calories in a rice cake than a handful of popcorn than some popcorn.
hey, before I switch topics on y'all, I just have to say I oppose the idea of grazing. We're not meant to go ahead and graze. We're not meant to graze. We're meant to eat. We're meant to be ravenously hungry and like engorge ourselves until we go, okay, I'm full, and then on to the next meal. Like you think of proto man, where he like on a hungry stomach, like trotted across the hillside, across
You
the
know what he
plains,
did? He went
till
through
he.
into the
Let me
berry
finish
bush.
my thought. It's my
He was
channel. Like
Get 'em.
proto man ran across the plains until he like ran that bison or stuck that um, woolly mammoth, and then they ate until they couldn't anymore because they didn't have preservation. Like they ate till they were hurting, and then they were fucking hungry again until they killed the next thing.
And then they sent the women out, and then they got roots, and then they got herbs, and they got berries, and then they got,
I mean, yeah, like if you came across a berry patch, like you go wild and you eat berries. But like, I mean, you eat berries till you're tired of eating berries, and then you move on. But like, we're meant to eat like considerable amounts of protein. Obviously, our tooth structure suggests. Not that I'm like big into evolution over, you know, the Bible per se. I feel like there's a level where the two can overlap.
both can be true.
Right. Macroevolution versus microevolution. I don't think that a sparrow like descended from a fish or whatever that flopped up on land. But anyways, we're and I agree with Pat. Like I think you probably ought not go to sleep full of carbohydrates. Um, like if a fella had to pick a meal time, it's probably midday, latter mid afternoon. We'll say ought to be
My
your
issue
heavy meal. Like
with
you ought to go to
breakfast,
sleep like full, but not recently filled, but not hungry. And then you wake up
Oh, I'm
lean and
fucking
hungry.
starving when I go to bed.
Well, I bet, depending on your timing. I was listening, but I was also responding to a text message while I took that leak. Shout out to a special lady. She knows who she is if she's listening. Anyway, and I think you're probably meant for like one really heavy, like protein dense meal. Like crawl out of your cave, club a critter, roast that sucker over spit. Everything else is a bonus. And that's as concise of a thought as I've got. I really wish I could wax poetic as Honda does. I have not smoked the devil's lettuce. so I have not unlocked my third eye. But that's my deep thought for the day.
Great.
I say
And
look
I
at
feel-
our closest cousin. You look and see what like the chimpanzees and stuff what they do all day. I think it's feast or famine, and they just kind of take meals of opportunity as they come across it, which is basically what you just said. I think
Yeah, I mean, if
No,
you
because they actually
have it across-
organize and hunt and stuff. So it's
yeah, but we're in a situation to where we, like we all have the ability to eat nonstop all day long if we wanted to, which isn't fucking good either. So I don't know. I'm at a loss for it. I'll put my 2 cents in when I get skinny.
there's too much milk and honey in this country. That's for sure.
There you go.
Raise all day though. They eat leaves and they pick fleas off each other, and then they go and they find a banana tree or whatever, and they just kind of chill out there and eat and sleep, and eat and sleep, and then fuck, and then shit, and then eat their shit, and then eat and sleep.
and throw it,
Throw
fling
it.
it.
Paint the wall.
Like they just kind of graze. They don't like ravenous themselves until they're like, oh yeah, we found a wild hog, and then let's get after it.
So it's been highlighted for a while. None of y'all have hooked into it, but Old Man Wrinkles said, any thoughts on Tim Pool's opinion of left versus right away? Any left wins or the left wins?
I haven't listened to them in a few weeks.
Talking about the Civil War.
Old Man Wrinkles, are you talking about the midterms? Because that's why I know, just to put your fears at ease, TMT, that's why I know gun control is not a popular topic. Not overall, and right now the Republicans hold the majority. There is not a Republican, whether they be a rhino, Republican in name only, or a diehard Republican, which even the diehard Republicans on the subject of gun rights stuff, of 2A stuff, they are only influenced by how much of an outcry they get from their constituents. I don't feel like there's anybody in Washington that really is a 2A absolutist. Sans Brandon Herrera, if Texas gets him voted in. And then let him have a term or two and get a taste of DC, and he probably will abandon us too. It is unfortunately the curse of the office. You get there and you get wined and dined and you get treated and you get influenced, and
only criminals carry more than one mag with their gun.
I know. And by that virtue,
See, I don't think it's I see it a little bit differently. It's not like you're abandoning your morals because you're getting wined and dined and the money and everything. You go up there and you realize what a cesspool it is, and you can't be an absolutist on anything. You have to compromise. It's like I got to give you something, and I got to give up something in order to get something.
In order to
and vice versa.
Yeah,
When you go up there and you realize how the machine works, like if you're a 2A absolutist, they're certainly not going to put you like if you're like Marjorie Taylor Greene was when she first showed up there. Like they're not putting her on committees and stuff like that. And that's where the real power lies. Because you can have the best bill in the entire world written up perfectly by an army of lawyers that would fix the whole country with this one bill. And if you're an asshole, it's never going to make it to the floor to get voted on.
MTG's mucking butts though too, by the way. Like she's pretty crazy.
Woman Butt Wrinkles talking about the Civil War thing. That's all I've seen on Tim Pool. Is like the last 4 or 5 are all talking about that.
That's his like trademark comment every stream though. Like Tim Pool doesn't even know guns. Like he says stuff and he sounds like a dumbass to people that know anything about guns. And I know I'm equally unqualified to comment on politics and stuff the way that he is. We all have our lane and we ought to stay in it. When Tim Pool tries to cross over and talk about guns, he sounds fucking stupid. Like it hurts when he talks about guns because he knows enough to say something, but
Something
doesn't
stupid.
know enough. Yeah, he doesn't know enough to speak from a authority's position. Not that I'm like gatekeeping gun ownership or the Second Amendment. That's not my intention. But he says some dumb stuff. And Sticks and Hammer 666, him too. He says some dumb stuff. Somebody gifted him a SIG M400 tread, which is a pretty squared away above bottom bin AR. Like they're pretty all right. Like if you get one, I haven't ever seen a SIG M400 tread like lemon, but I would believe as many of them as they have sold, one or two have probably messed up. But you'd think that the guy won like was gifted the holy grail of ARs, and that it is not. That said, I know I'm over here with my Barrel Precision M4E1, and all the guys with like Geisleys and BCMs look down on me, and that's fine. I'm not going to wear it out, and if I do, by the time that I have spent enough ammo to wear out my known quantity squared away rifle, I'll afford another one.
Tell
Hmm. It's not the Indian, it's not the arrow, it's the Indian.
It is, and like the reality is, kind of like this guy in Minneapolis went down. Like you're not going to rise to the occasion. You're going to default to what you've mastered.
Yep.
And in this situation, he had a gun, and I don't know if he showed up that day with the intention of using it on anybody. Overall, I'm satisfied with the outcome. If he had chose to conduct himself differently, I think he would have achieved the same outcome for himself. He just might have taken some Border Patrol agents with him, and I don't wish that on anybody of the Border Patrol. Hang on, the logical side of myself is thinking about choosing my words wisely. Once you say it, you can't take it back. I'm for the rule of law. I think it's unfortunate that he had a P320 that probably indeed and then subsequently cost him his life, because that's kind of how it looks now. It looks like maybe it just went bang while the cop was holding it, and then they heard bang and smoked him.
Aren't we calling that a UD, like unintentional discharge?
Yeah, because of the P320, we've created a whole new classification of bang.
Yeah, if you're holding it by the handle with your finger nowhere near the trigger and it goes bang, I wouldn't say that's negligent.
And that's
unless you're including buying.
He got clapped by his own concealable starter pistol.
Maybe buying it was negligent, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Unless we're counting the purchase of the P365 negligent, then maybe it's a negligent discharge. Yeah, 320.
365 are still good to go until you shoot them like 1,000 rounds, and then they stop extracting. They blow extractors.
That's terrible. Here's the deal, though. I really don't know, honestly.
Hang on, I'm gonna pull a Honda on you and reel it back in for a second, because I didn't finish my thought. So I know. I'm sorry. You could have gone live tonight, Mister. I got to be up at 5 a.m. Just give me a second. Let me reel it in. Tin Man, welcome. We appreciate you being here, sir. I'm sorry I overlapped on you. I didn't realize you were going live before I announced that I was going live, and I just had to run with it because we already started 9 minutes late. I was giving you your time. Anyway, it is unfortunate that event played out the way that it did. And it's not that I think that anybody should show up to a protest unarmed. Be armed. But once you reach a point where you've been pepper sprayed and you're resisting arrest, don't be pissed off if you get shot. Because you brought a gun into play, whether you actively drew it or not. You brought a gun and then resisted arrest.
Yeah, if you're carrying,
They
you're
have
supposed-
qualified immunity, and they're going home to their family alive if they can help it. And I don't blame that to any cop, qualified to carry a gun or not. Society and the government views their safety and their importance above yours as just a run-of-the-mill pistol packing person.
you're already supposed to do
Um,
better than that anyway. You know, if you're carrying, you're already supposed to be better and do better than that anyway.
The trouble I see with all this is when I took pistol classes, one of the first things they said when you're a concealed carrier is to not fucking be there. If there's
Yeah.
any trouble going down, it's your responsibility to not fucking be there.
Get off the X, and if the stage
Do
is
not-
downtown, if the stage is set, don't even be on stage. That's the easiest way to get off the X. Is to just not ever even be on stage. That way you don't have to worry about exiting stage left or stage right. You're just not even there. And all these people crying boo-hoo, he was a VA nurse, delivery nurse, this, that, whatever. None of that matters in the moment. When you're there, your whole life credentials, everything, all the good you've done in life matters not in that moment. Good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter.
All right, now let me finish my thought. Okay, so
TMT, you have the conch shell.
Yay, I have the magic conch.
I get to be piggy.
I have no idea how SIG can hold any LE or any military contract after how many freaking different videos, how many stringent investigations, the Air Force guy, they just keep adding up, man. How in the fuck is SIG still in business? How in the fuck do they still have contracts? If I was any, I would be dumping these things like they're on fire because, quite frankly, clearly they are. And I'm sure there's more and more cops. And I know, like, for the longest time, they were trying to blame the reholster and then the cop didn't know how to reholster the gun. I'm starting to really consider that to be bullshit. I think the SIG 320 is a hot pile of trash.
They're not it, because if they do, then they would have to admit that the freaking million of them that they put out are all no good and have to issue refunds, which would drive them into the.
What is a human life worth? Clearly, multiple human lives have been altered and shot and affected by this. Dude, it's worth more than money. I don't care. SIG has enough fucking money.
Gone.
If they have enough money, they can eat it.
If they had to pay for the wrongful deaths that occurred, and all the products that are out there to be replaced at what they were purchased for or greater, they'd be fucking done. There would be no more SIG.
Then let it happen because I don't want no SIG anyway. If Glocks were doing that, I would want Glock to do it. I would want them to eat it. Just saying. If Smith and Wesson was doing it, I'd want them to eat it. If High Point was doing it, I'd want them to eat it. When a High Point is safer than a fucking SIG, we got a problem.
No.
I'm not saying don't be a protest, and I'm not saying don't be armed. What I'm saying is don't get in fucking involved. If shit starts going sideways, leave.
Yeah, your responsibility is first and foremost to yourself and yours.
Like
Everybody else, like you can be a good guy for you and your immediate family or your immediate sphere of influence, your people, your friends, your relatives, whoever the group you're with in public. Beyond that, you have zero obligation to be a superhero to anybody else. And same for the cops. The Supreme Court has upheld that. That's why none of the cars say to protect and serve anymore. The cops have zero obligation to risk their life for your well-being. If they choose to, that's cool. That's good of them. 2 thumbs up. But they have zero legal obligation to risk their own life for you.
Yep, that's why I only wear my cape in the bedroom. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here.
Good night, TMT. Good luck tomorrow. Like, share, and sub to Tactical Muffin Top. He is on the cusp of 1,000 subs. Once he gets that 1,000 subs, he's got a special giveaway planned. And from 1K to infinity. We can just, if we can get him, if we can crawl him over that 1K mark.
I really don't understand how some of these guys can sit there and think that it's okay to get themselves into these situations, especially while they're armed. Like, why are you yelling at a member of law enforcement when you're armed? You know this is gonna go nowhere good for you. And then once they're armed, they're gonna get rough.
And that was one of the things, I referenced Brandon Herrera / Donut Operator's video today on Brandon Herrera's channel. It's the totality of circumstances with all of the nonsense going on around that pig pile of people on top of him. The whistles and the screaming and the hollering and all that. Those cops had to go off what they had, what they could see, what they could hear, what they could smell was the reference that a Donut made. Once somebody in the pig pile has hollered gun and then a gunshot breaks, they can only assume that it's the suspect that discharged. And then even if the suspect didn't discharge, they can only then assume, and like all of this is being taken in live. Like they don't get to armchair quarterback the video from 3 or 4 angles like we have the privilege to do later. Once a bang has gone off,
they're all
that the threat has escalated. I need to neutralize threat. So that's why the officer from behind pop, and then pop. I don't know if you all follow John Correa of Active Self-Protection, the guy that does armchair quarterback, all of the officer involved body cam footage.
I do enjoy it.
Closed circuit footage.
I like their stuff.
But he references the scientifically tested studies that determine the latency between your OODA loop, between where you've decided now I need to shoot and now I need to stop. It's longer for your brain to register I need to stop shooting as it does to even initiate the initial shot. And the way that we all study the shoot until the threat is neutralized anyways, that guy got the double tap from behind from that first cop that pulled the gun when he heard gun, and he got off the pile and drew his weapon. He gave the double tap, and then homeboy jumped up because he just got shot, and I can't hold that against the guy, against the deceased. Like, I'd probably crappie flop if I got shot too. But he got shot 2 times, and so he jumped up like he got shot 2 times. Well, he's not neutralized, so that's what got him the other 4. And that's what got him, unfortunately, painted on the streets. But all of that, like Pat was saying, is ultimately his fault because he showed up and decided to be difficult. If he'd just been on the sidewalk, right when they came up and maced that first gal that he jumped in front of between them and her, and he put that hand up, if he had not involved himself, at most he would have got pepper sprayed and been mad about it. And that would have been a really bad day, but he'd have woke up the next morning. If you don't want to die, don't go up against the state. I hate it, but unfortunately the state has the power. They have a license to murk you. What say you?
I had a thought, but I lost it during the monologue.
Sorry.
I agree.
No, you're right.
I'm just sauced enough to like let it flow and not enough to like hang myself. I'm quitting at 3. I have found that's my happy limit. 3 gets the nose numb, lets the words flow besides the like, occasional syllable fumble. I promise. Scout's honor. Whatever, I forget the scout symbol, but notwithstanding, I wake up
3
every
fingers
day.
over the heart.
I promise. I wake up every day with the intention of doing right by society and making it home with no extra holes. And most days it works out. Some days an old man comes in and waves a loaded gun at me and makes me wonder. In fact, that last guy I referenced, evidently he came back at a later date and dropped off the rest of that box of ammo, of that steel case ammo that he had stuck in his LC9. I have that in my center console. That's mine, and I'm going to spend it. Because one of those almost took me. I'm going to burn it up with no issues.
Now I remember.
Yeah.
We were talking about the situation with the guy, and it made me think of the worst case scenario. If you're involved in a self-defense shooting and the cops are less than 3 minutes away, they show up and they see a guy with a gun, like, you're going to get shot. And I think we've kind of accepted that. If you're standing there like pointing a gun at someone when the cops show up, and even though you've said I'm the guy with the orange sash on, what I heard from a lawyer, or was it a lawyer or a cop? I don't know. I was listening to somebody, and they said, you should probably still do it, give your own description, but what tends to happen is you've described yourself as the victim, and the only thing that makes it to the officer is that description. He doesn't know if that's the victim, if that's the perpetrator, if that's the witness. He doesn't know who that person is.
Yeah.
So if he shows up and the guy with the orange sash on is pointing a gun at someone, then he's going to have to assume that that's the perpetrator, and he's probably going to shoot you. And I mean, if it happens to me, I'm going to be pissed. But, once you can sit back and think about it, if you're not dead, like, you can't be mad at it. Like, people that get attacked by sharks, they're not mad at the shark. It's you're in the water. It's the shark's world. And if you're out on the street with a gun, you're in there with the sharks, the police. They have guns too.
Well, and they're generally apprehensive until that first shot's fired. Once they fire that first shot, they realize there's no take-backsies from a legal ramification. And they do have that qualified immunity. Like, they're really apprehensive until that first shot goes out. But once that first shot goes, they know that they're, like, from a cop's perspective, 1 shot or 15, like, it's the same legal offense,
I forget what the situation was, but somebody else was explaining that. Like, some state law. Some state law was about self-defense was all fucked up. So it's like throwing a punch or shooting someone with mace was basically the same as shooting them. So they were saying you might as well just shoot the guy because you're going to prison. If you punch him or mace him, it's the same thing.
I don't know if that special person's still watching or not, but just in case, here's an impromptu on the Slishman. Draw it up tight and just start wrapping. Go wide and tight. Pat, you got your Slishman on you? I like that hesitance in the answer. That means he does not have it on him. And even if you goof up and get it crossways, you just flip it over.
I'm not doing it.
Easy to self-apply to yourself, to kids, to canines.
And it'll work.
I have 3 tourniquets on that set that I just showed you guys.
Don't use your thumb. Your thumb doesn't count.
Your mama doesn't count.
Oh, there you go. No,
your Fitbit will tell you if your heart's beating or not.
That's true.
Doesn't it flash?
Yeah, we don't. It is reducing. So it went down from 90 something to 84. I promise if I were really like squirting, I'd yank that a whole lot tighter. But I promise I'm getting the tingles. I'm numb. My hands going cold. So right now I may not have total arterial exclusion. It'll at least be reducing. In worst case, I can pull it back and give it another for. Buy your Slishman pressure wraps from preparedcitizenstg.com. They're $10.99. Use the coupon code TMT. You save 10% on all your regularly priced items. Plus, you help out Tactical Muffin Top. So that proves to Jay, the owner, the veteran-owned operator of Prepared Citizens Training Group, that people from Tactical Muffin Top's channel listen to us. See, I'll be a pimp for TMT. It's always been about TMT. I want him to succeed.
There's a video I put on my channel of the Slishman, and I used one of those finger, what do they call it, the pulse ox thing that you put on your finger, and it showed that it stopped the flow.
Yeah.
It was confused for a minute when I put it on. I think it's one of those things where, like, as soon as it detects skin, it like starts beating. But it was on there for like a second, and it just went to 0. So it does work.
I know they work. I mean, I've made my hand numb before, like turn blue. Oh, look at that. TMT's still in the comment section. We love you too, TMT.
He's probably sitting on the toilet.
Probably getting ready to get in the shower. He's watched us while he's naked. I have given away literally probably, I've lost count, honestly. At one point I had a running total, so that I stopped giving the same person the second one when I saw him like 6 months later. I have given away probably 15 of the Slishmans at this point, which, considering the income that I make, is kind of a lot. All of the immediate loved ones have gotten one. My kid carries one in his bag. He understands how to use it. I think is probably aloof enough that under duress would not think to use it, but at least it provides me the false sense of peace that he's got it, like I tried. We'll revisit it again before long because I'd like him to prove again that he can do it. I've given one to his teacher, so I know she knows what they're about because her and her husband are customers of mine. And I even expressed to her, I've told you guys before, but I expressed to her that like my dream would be to find some way to give like 300 or 400 of these to each school and get like 8 or 10 of them in each classroom. So like absolute worst case scenario, break glass in case of emergency, and like you've got them in the classroom. Because everyone on this panel knows if there were an unfortunate school event, medical is not coming in until police secure the scene. And time is what determines who goes to the morgue and who goes to the hospital. And so my dream would be, sincerely, like my dream would be to put like 8 or 10 of these in each classroom. Not because that would save everyone, but when you're talking about triage and casualty care, it's a numbers game. Like the Day of Wrath. I don't know, you like to reference that pretty frequently. I know that really struck a chord with you, which I'm impressed by since all your kids are out of school age. Sure, Eduardo, all caps TMT. Yeah, just the code TMT at checkout in the discount code section of Jay's website, preparedcitizenstg.com. Obviously, little Susie that catches a 5.56 in the dome, she's probably spent. But that kid with an arterial bleed to a limb, one of these might let her hang on that half hour to 45 minutes until the cops clear that classroom and the paramedics are let in. And I know that's a heavy topic. I mean, it's super heavy. But there's like a portion of your mind that you can go to where you can emotionally remove yourself and just use the logic side of your brain. They're made in China, unfortunately, but they're $10. It's not a
And
Cat Gen 7.
it's sold
It
out
works
right.
on, but it works on everybody's limbs from K9 to 50-year-old, 60-year-old. $10, and they don't go bad if you keep them somewhere cool, dry, preferably out of light. $10.
It's less painful. It's less painful than a cat tourniquet.
Well, yeah, because you can go wide, and that's especially important on kids because of their lower blood pressure and narrower limb diameter. To be honest, most of the kids, if they're still preteen age, elementary kids, middle schoolers, you can achieve arterial occlusion with direct pressure. So like being able to go wide with these as opposed to a cat where you've got the one band and you just overlap it. Cat tourniquet on demand. So you all know that this isn't staged. Cat tourniquet on demand. I should have flipped that the other way and gone outboard, but nonetheless. And this one, I will admit, I don't have the time to take full back. So add a 3-second disqualifier. Look at that. That's a whole cluster. Maybe that's going to have to be remedied. Anyways, Cat Gen 7s, that's not tight enough to begin with, but we'll get there. You just got the one about 1.5 inch, 1.25 width band. And then you start cranking the windlass, which that's what I'm getting backwards. I'm out of practice. Don't be out of
Reps
practice.
and sets.
They've been
Reps
using
and
that
sets.
Yep.
Fishman.
And I'm gonna
Now imagine your hands are covered in blood and your adrenaline's pumping through the roof. Like it's going to be worse.
And when it hurts, you go some more. We're doing this live.
You go one twist past bad words.
Well, we're at bad words, and I'm definitely gonna make sure that this time tape is out of the way because that's like clustering me up. Oh. We're past bad words, I promise. This is gonna leave a mark. But for you people on the internet, there we go.
Now what's the Fitbit say?
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna check that here in a second as soon as I get this time tape across there.
This ow.
I promise this really hurts. I can't even get the time tape. We're just gonna see. It still shows 90, but I'm changing colors and my veins in my hand are bulging.
Your gas gauge doesn't go from like full to empty as you're going down the road bouncing because it's like buffered. I would imagine the Fitbit is somewhat similar. It's not gonna drop to zero immediately.
I promise it's not doing a fair job of showing the color difference, but I'm changing.
Yeah, push on your finger, push on the bed of your fingernail and see if the white stays. See, I do that, and the color comes back immediately.
I'm gonna let it go. It hurts. It hurts, y'all.
And that's what I was kind of saying about the Schlishman. Like you can wrap little Susie's leg up in that Schlishman, and she might leave it on. You throw a tourniquet on Susie's leg, she's gonna cry, and she's gonna try and take it off when you walk away.
All right. I'm done showing off for the camera. That
Did you
hurt.
stretch it back out?
I'm about to. That was a virgin cat tourniquet. That was my freshest one out of the bag. I've got the
Yeah,
one that
I've
I
got
carry in
some.
the cargo pocket, and I have practiced with it once or twice without going full
Yeah,
tilt. But man, that one
yeah,
hurt.
I have some that I play with and practice with, but the ones that are on my kit and that I carry, I don't fool with them.
And y'all see it right now. I'm not letting that time tape pick me up again. It's done packed behind there because it's just anecdotal. It's just a bonus. But as much as that hamstrung me, I'm packing that out of the way.
Yeah, they want you to put it back on the one side and sideways, so the corner of it is actually sticking up above.
I cleared the windlass, made sure that the section the windlass rides on is flat so that it's not bound. Packing the windlass. And then I have even been told to go ahead and tuck the red tail back over an inch or so. It's a way to break it down so that way that it folds back on itself pretty neatly. So that's a properly stowed Cat Gen 7 tourniquet. And that one's going back in the MERS. I don't feel like any detriment was done to using it one time, not on a genuine cat. Also carry that ankle rig, which has a soft T wide, excuse me, not a soft T wide, a SWAT T tourniquet, the stretch wrap and tuck, which is just basically a giant hospital elastic bandage. It's like 4 inches wide. Much harder to use on yourself, but it packs down flatter than the puffy Slishman, and I still have it. So till it achieves its wear by date, because it is elastic, I'll replace it at that point. It's not a perfect system, but I promise I carry like infinitely more times more medical than the average so carry person. Gunfights are two-way ranges. If you're going to poke holes, be prepared to plug holes. You are infinitely more likely to pull up on a car accident or a workplace accident and use your medical gear than you ever are to shoot somebody.
You're almost
Please.
guaranteed you're going to need
And
your
it's
medical.
cheaper. It's cheaper. It's cheaper. It's cheaper. Like you go bang one time, that gun just that shot just costs you your gun, everything that's in it, and probably thousands of dollars of legal fees. $10.99, save a life. I'll turn my camera off while I've been looking too long. Because none of you sons of guns leave your camera on. I look at myself, and that makes me feel a special kind of vein.
Makes you feel a special kind of way right there.
I was moving around too much. I just cleaned up after my grandsons. They like to immediately dump the toy box out and then just leave.
I kicked the cat out before we went live. Well, I didn't kick her out. We
amicably separate.
we tactically extracted her with the temptations of treatsies, and then I locked the door on her. So I expected any moment for the door to start getting like bumped and scratched. But she got the room all day while I was gone. So
Yeah, just
good
be
night,
careful not to
TMT.
piss her. Just be careful not to piss her off too much. They'll piss in your bed.
She's old enough to be beyond that, but not so old that she's back to that, if that makes sense. You know, the circle of life suggests we start out as babies and basically devolve back to babies. She's not back to being a baby. She's getting long in the tooth, has her proclivities for soft food and, you know, easy life. She's not that long.
You come into this world mumbling and wearing diapers, and if you're lucky, you leave this world mumbling and wearing diapers.
I don't even go out in a diaper.
It's the plan. But I've been telling my son, I'm like, bro, you better fucking knock this. You're doing good, dude. You go and pee, but I don't know, you're just not pooping in that dang potty yet. Like I'm warning you, bro. I'm not gonna forget any of this. Wiping your butt, dude. Getting a little too old.
Isn't it the way of the world? Like my youngest is probably never going to move out, and he's probably going to inherit the house. But there comes with a cost. Like you're going to be changing my diapers, motherfucker.
Even trade.
That's basically how it went for my grandfather. He didn't live. My grandmother passed in '94, and then he remarried in like '97, '96, somewhere in there. I don't remember. I was young. And the agreement was he sold the house that he and my grandmother raised my mother and all of her siblings in, from like early elementary school on up, and moved in with her. And then between what he got from selling his house and his pretty good teacher's pension, bought the land, the virgin land, and then by hand we cleared it and raised that log cabin. And he did all of it that he could get away with without needing. We did everything but the brickwork for the foundation. They did 4-foot cinder block underground, 4-foot above ground, and then with the help of some friends that had the certification to sign off on the plumbing and the electrical. Like we ran all the plumbing, sweated all the pipes. And when I say we, I mean he did, 90% of it, and I helped. I mean, and I'm time wise removed enough to have remembered all the lessons that I learned in the moment. But we did. We raised that home from the foundation to roof, which I guess I should concede that the roof was done by professionals. Like somebody came out and put the metal roof on it. But we built that home. We cleared that land. And I don't know. I'm salty, but I'm a certain kind of sad that I think he meant for that to be his legacy. And I'm still pretty ate up that all it took was one person to say, but that's your inheritance. To part with that.
Inheritance is like that's a modern concept, I think. I know it says in the Bible that you're supposed to leave something for your kids, but the entitlement of people when someone passes away, it's sickening. It happened when my middle son, when he got with his girlfriend. I think this was before they were married. His girlfriend's grandmother had passed away, and the freaking dirty, underhanded bullshit that his girlfriend's mom did, like the grandma had cancer and it got into her brain and she wasn't in her right mind, and in that state my girlfriend's mother, her daughter, took power of attorney or whatever and changed the will and changed it so that she got almost everything. They sold the house, and what my son's girlfriend got from the grandmother, she ended up putting it into buying the grandmother's house. So the mom and a couple other people got her share of the money too through the sale of the house. I think she got a little bit back after it all closed, but and I've seen it with my wife's family, and there wasn't, when they didn't have much down there. Like they had property. That's about
Mhm.
that's about it. When the what's the word I use? The entitlement that someone thinks they have after a death, it's sad and it's sickening. And I'm about to go through it myself. We're buying this 55 acres down in West Virginia, and I intend to turn this into something. And I hope, and I'll do everything in my power legally to make that my legacy. Like figure out a way so the kids, it can only be sold if all three of my kids agree on selling it or whatever. I don't know what else to do,
And that's the
but
thing is, it only takes one of the three to object, and then they ruin it for the other two. Because that was the way with his four. It took one spouse. It took the spouse of one of the four to say, "But that's your inheritance." And two of the three folded because they were indifferent. Like they're set. Their house is paid for. Their retirement is stocked. Like they're good to the end of their days. And then that left one in strong opposition. So it was 1v1 with two that were just indifferent, that just wanted to keep the peace, and that ruined it. So I beg you, please have that locked up. Like have all of that squared away, not just in a will, but in a trust, ideally. The totality of all of that is worth it, to have that all really seated and locked down, and take into consideration your current and future grandchildren. I feel like if he had given the grandchildren a vote in it, see, really what should have happened is he had a pretty copy and paste, really simple will that just basically said, settle any outstanding debts I have and then split it four ways. So that's exactly what they did. And everything went to probate in the interim. And once the time elapsed for any debtors to come forward, which there weren't any because he didn't owe anybody anything. So that was a dumb will that was 20 years out of date. And the problem was when the proclamation was first made by his family doctor that, hey, you show the signs of early dementia / Alzheimer's, take this serious. And the initial, hey, this is just what they said, take this seriously, was made to my mother and her siblings. They all buried their heads in the sand like ostriches and said, "Oh no, that's not dad." And it was. And they didn't see it because early on he could laugh it off and deny it. But if you saw him with any regularity, it became glaringly obvious. And by the time that they acknowledged it, even if they had intended to act on it then, by the time that he was obviously not whole any longer, if he had made any amendments to his will, you could argue he was not of sound mind, right? And that's what cost everything, unfortunately. And I don't, you know, as much as the one wanted to sell, and that caused the other three to not bother fighting it. I'm not saying that any of my cousins, any of the other grandchildren, would have advocated to keep it in the family for posterity's sake. It's fucking asinine that the two Christmases since then, they've rented venues that not everybody has made it to. It was neutral family ground where everyone was welcome. And since then, two Christmases now, they have had to rent Airbnbs, which is what the guy that bought the place turned it into, was an Airbnb. Pat, please don't let your life's work turn into an Airbnb. Please. I'm turn my camera off now.
That's a profound what's the word I'm looking for? Statement doesn't seem that's a very profound plea, I would say. Do not let your life's work, savings, and the culmination to become an Airbnb.
That was very well. That was very well put right there at the end, Lawfully. That was very well.
I know that he had grander dreams. Like it was kind of like we had perpetual projects that like time and weather allotted. At the time of his passing, there was an incomplete patio area that we had laid. I didn't help a whole lot on that project. By then, I had started doing adult things and had a kid and whatnot. But he had laid out the perimeter, like garden blocks, and then intended to like backfill the area with like gravel or something to make a level plane. He was refinishing an old metal frame picnic table. He was gonna stain new lumber and put a picnic table out, which really was a concession. 10 years prior to that, the intention was to put a gazebo out there, and unfortunately, time catches up to us all. He wanted to put a separate gazebo area with like a spot to put a grill, because the cabin had a wraparound porch, but then like you try and do a grill or something, and you're like, I'm singeing the house, So like the idea was like we'll put a separate gazebo that gives more standing area out of doors, separate from the house, so that if like the grill fire gets out of the way, like we burned the gazebo, but at least we didn't burn the house. And so really conceding to the leveled out gravel picnic table was the concession. And when he passed, there was just a perimeter laid out in gravel or in like those interlocking blocks. They're bricks, but they have the like chiselly face, but then they're square on all the other sides, and then they've got the little bit of lip so you can interlock them on the back side.
Retaining wall bricks.
Basically, yeah. The ones that are about the size of a football, large boot. I don't know. Maybe 10 inches, not quite square. Anyway, the land had been cleared for that, opposite the gravel drive at the top of the hill from the house, and that had been kind of sitting with the unfinished picnic table set in the middle of it for 18, 24 months, maybe longer. I lose track of time at this point. But I promise, over the years, just a kid, just him talking to a kid, like wouldn't hold up in court, doesn't mean anything. Just the discussions we had, and me too juvenile and naive to know what would ultimately become legal ramifications. I promise he had great intentions to do more on the property. It was two adjoined 5-acre plots was the way that he purchased it. And 5 acres of it, he planned to leave as virgin timber as possible. It's essentially a wildlife refuge of sorts, besides a discernible cleared perimeter, so that not only would a trespasser have to cross, a painted boundary marker, but also like an obvious 18 to 24 inches of cleared swath, which would undoubtedly remove any legal doubt that you like trespassed. At least on 2 of the 3 sides, or 2 of the 4 sides. One side was the private gravel drive that you had to drive up or walk up, and then one side, when he purchased the land, already had a barbed wire fence that didn't quite exactly follow the survey. Some spots it might have been a foot on the other side, and other places it was up to 2 or 3 feet over his actual surveyed boundary. But it was like a 50-plus-year-old fence, and it worked as a notice. So he didn't contest it. Like he could have, if he wanted to be pedantic, he could have like ripped it out and like put up a new one years ago. But it was kind of a let sleeping dogs lie kind of thing. Like he didn't feel like there was a need to contest that northern boundary. There was trespassing and encroachment from the western edge where some people that lived in like a way out in the sticks, like trailer park, had come over, and it was we were pretty sure it was just kids being kids, but they would cross over from their trailer and like cleave down, thigh diameter trees with a machete, because kids, adults would cut it off lower. These kids were swinging it at like t-ball bat height. They were chopping it down, chopping these cedar trees down at like 24, 30 inches up from the base, and they made the mistake of leaving their machete one time. So kind of as a passive aggressive response, he basically batoned that mofo into one of the stumps that they left, and kind of left that like he didn't steal their machete, but like if they came back for it, they were gonna have to like extract Excalibur from the stump kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't a whole lot for stern words. He was a pretty measured individual as a veteran teacher, but I was pretty impressed. He batoned that son of a gun like way down into that stump. And cedar's a pretty wet tree. So like after you've got that down in there, it's a whole lot to get it back out. Anyway, I'll stop waxing poetic about property that matters not any longer. But I'd
All
take
we
all
are
the
is a
money.
collection of memories, and that's one of your most treasured, I believe. So it's not that it doesn't matter.
It is, but that there was so much sweat, blood, and tears poured into that property that it had kind of become hallowed ground.
Yeah,
And
and like
Well,
I'm
I
past
I
worrying
can
about it all
only
the time now. But
like it pisses, like I get pissed off about property too, man. Like I did, my great grandmother had just under 5 acres that she basically, with that land and her, had seven kids, was able to pay off based off of, like the like like the flowers and stuff that she grew there on that land and everything like that. And like she baked and shit. But then I had a great aunt who, at the whole time that I was growing up, I planted all the fruit trees and shit that are there, like all throughout middle school and high school. That was my job, and she paid me for it. She paid me very well. Now I think about it, like, she paid me really, really well, and freaking, and then when they die, fucking this, like how Pat was saying, was this self entitlement of people, they fuck everything up. They fuck it all up. It's ridiculous.
and you let a piece of property go like that, and what do you get for it in return? Some cash that you're just
well,
going to go blow on. That you're just going to go blow on something that won't even exist in 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? Go buy a car that's going to be
basically,
a
that is
pile of shit in
that is
5 years?
basically what happened. Was so here's what I think. I'm gonna turn my camera back on for this because I'm standing on business. I think the lawyer that sold him the will 20 plus years ago screwed him, because when the time came, said lawyer is still in practice. He's the one that handled the probate. The realtor that was involved with assessing the value of the property and listing it was in cahoots with him. Then, when there was inevitably like the estate sale for what was left after it had exited probate, but it was like a take it if you want it, and if not, we're selling it, was attached to him. So he got his cut on the front end, he got his cut on the back end, and everybody in cahoots with him got their cut. The property sold for pennies on the dollar. The remaining content sold for pennies on the dollar because it was sell it quick, not for the most. And I understand that that's the name of the game, but we could do nickels and dimes as opposed to pennies. And that will was established before I was of legal age, let alone old enough to know better. I really wish that when that initial proclamation was made by his family doctor that, hey, you're showing the signs of Alzheimer's / dementia. I wish that he had taken it seriously. I wish that he had pretty immediately spent the couple $1,000s that it would have taken to update and like judiciously answer for everything in his will. I mean, I like at the age that he was at, I would take delight in like, cool, I've made it to the proverbial finish line. I'm going to enumerate assets to each person and delight in knowing that I won't be there when the time comes for that to be announced. I wish he had done that. And I don't say that because I feel like I'd have been at the top of the pecking order. If you've amassed, not that he had great wealth, but like if you have amassed the things and the accomplishments that he had, because he'd still, I know everybody thinks they had the greatest grandpa ever. Sounds like somebody that got like the few people that say otherwise. I know everybody thinks they had the best grandpa ever. But I really had the greatest grandpa ever. Because he was a great grandpa, but he stood in the gap as a role model of a dad, too. And really, both my grandfathers, in their own way, stood in that gap. And I was privileged as not the eldest grandchild, second oldest, but I got to spend more time in person with him, which is not to say that he loved me more than any of the others. But I know that I was special to him, and I promise that he was special to me. So, and there's no replacing that. You can't put a dollar on that. But I think in an alternate universe, stuff would have played out different. I feel like I probably, at the sake of being the custodian of that place, would have taken over ownership of it. I would have been the primary custodian of it. But I sincerely, like, from bare land with these hands, we cleared the trees. He contracted the dirt work because to lay that brick foundation, 4 foot under, 4 foot above, it was necessary to remove several rocks the size of cars. But sans that and lateral lines, I spent my summers from about 10 to 13 building a home. And on the days that weren't winter, like right now, about 2 hours a day after school, like we built a home, a log cabin, like a bona fide log cabin. Blood, sweat, and tears. And then there are 15 or more years of Christmas, and rather than celebrating everybody's birthday individually, we do like 2 or 3 months at a time because that's what it takes to get the majority of the family together. You never got everybody, but you get most everybody. You guys have heard all this before. I'll stop wasting your time. We have way drifted off topic of if you don't want to get perforated by federal agents and put in a pine box, then don't FAFO. Pat, please square all that away. I mean, pay somebody the several $1,000s up front to make that ironclad, please.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of expediency, it's going in myself and my wife's name originally. But then once it's acquired, I'm going to have both my properties situated in such a way. If I don't sell my house immediately, if I go to rent it or something, it'll be put in a trust as well. Because I don't need somebody slipping on ice that they were supposed to clear themselves and just trying to sue me and take both my take my entire life away. And don't feel bad for telling your story. The conversation goes where it goes, and there's lessons to be learned in there. I kept wanting to say some lessons can't be taught; they have to be learned. And the only reason you know about taking care of things the way they should be taken care of is because you learned it. Nobody taught you; you learned it. And basically, the same thing happened to me. I watched my stepdad take care of just some random old dude that lived close to one of his properties. I think maybe his dad and him were friends way back,
Yeah.
and was entrusted to take care of this dude, in his final years. But in the last couple of months, like he was just too bad, and he couldn't take care of him. Put him in a home, and when you get put in one of those places, like they have you sign all these papers and shit, and they own your ass. They took everything. This nursing home that took care of the dude for just a couple of months, maybe a year, 2 years at the most. Now all of a sudden they get a paid for house. That, oh, by the way, my stepdad had to clear for them. He had to take all the stuff out of the house. They're like, oh, you can have all the stuff in the house, but you need to remove it. So, and also, like the whole time he was taking care of this guy, like he was mowing his grass for him, getting him groceries, just taking care of him. And like a year or so before he actually got bad, handed him some money, like 10 grand or something like that, just for doing all the things and taking care of him. Like he earned it. It wasn't a gift. He fucking earned it by taking care of him and doing things. Well, when that guy ultimately passed away, the nursing home like got the lawyers and all that shit involved. Like they're professionals. This is what they do. And they made him give that money back. They made him clear out the house. Then they sold the house. I learned that lesson along with him because I was there helping at the very end. I met the guy a few times, but after he had passed, like I was involved in trying to clear out his house, and I got a second hand lesson on how all this stuff goes down and what they do to you. And then my stepdad, he's got the balls. He's like, he wants me to take care of his shit when he gets old. It's like, you just showed me what happens. Like, and I told him the same thing. Like, you got to go put your properties in a trust. And he's got stupid money too. And I said, you gotta get all this stuff taken care of before you pass away. Because this guy, he got it twice. When his dad passed away, it was kind of unexpected. Like he was old, but he was in pretty decent health. Just fucking undiagnosed heart problem, had a heart attack and died. My stepdad had to pay taxes on his own tractors. Like he had some restored old tractors in his dad's barn. He had to fucking pay taxes on his own tractors because they were in his dad's barn when he died. And there was a dump truck or something that lived up at his house. It was technically in his dad's name, but like he was the only one that ever used it, and he maintained it and all that shit. And because it was registered through his dad in the state, the tax assessor or whoever the hell does all that, it's like, where's this truck at? Like you had to pay taxes on everything. If you don't take care of that stuff while you're alive, like it's a nightmare for anyone who's left.
Yeah, and it's not fair. It further complicates the emotional situation of end of life stuff sucks. I don't know how the people that do that for a living do that for a living. The mortuary people and the legal counsel, all that. I don't know how they.
Well, they have to become detached from it. That's for sure.
Well, I know, and I know it's different when you're talking about somebody else. It's the same way we were talking about that guy getting smoked. You know, like you can go to a rational place, and I guess that's what that is too. You know, if there was a period of time that my dad worked for a funeral homes, and he told me some stories of some bodies they picked up and stuff, like where dude sewer slided himself, Kurt Cobain style, in the kitchen, like with birdshot. So like basically he like blew the front of his face in and out the back of the head, but then the birdshot ricocheted off. You know, what momentum it had left, it ricocheted off of the like wood cabinet door and come back out the front. So basically the guy like hollowed out his face. And I can remember being like, I don't know, 10 when my dad told me that story and being like simultaneously like disgusted and then like how metal that was. Or him talking about blaring the local rock station, driving old ladies to the to the uh, cemetery or whatever, about sending them out on a rock song or whatever because like they're dead, they don't care. Like he was very literal in that way. Um, he wasn't a good dad, but he wasn't a bad person. I'll just leave it at that.
Hmm.
Coming up on a year since he passed too. Last year fucking sucked, man. I say that not because he had anything good to say and I had anything good to ask him, but now the opportunity to do it is removed. And this time a year ago, I knew better. Like I knew that would leave. Hey, Grumberg, welcome. Um, I knew that I would rue the day or the option to ask or to level with him would someday come. Because now anything that I ever have left to ask him, I'll never get an answer to. But him, and then not a month later, lost my oldest cousin. Like first cousin once removed to be technical. That he and I were pretty close. He was somebody I could go to and like have these kinds of conversations with and not feel like they were going to get back to everybody else in the family, So he kind of fumbled through adulthood in his own way. Um, his mother was the first relative that I ever actually watched pass. That was a pretty rough night. As a 12, 13-year-old, I don't remember exactly how old I was, but I can tell you the night, like verbatim. It was a Wednesday because we went to church. His mom did choir and handbells, and she and I had an argument about some other stuff. And then we got the call, like we had just made it back home and got the call that she had taken a turn for the worse in the nursing home. Which is unfortunate because really, age-wise, she was not old enough that she should not have been in a nursing home, but she was poor enough health that that's where she was at. And I think to this day, that's part of why I have like severe angst for like hospitals and hotels. That stench of death, that piss and blood and old people smell, that like I'm actively decaying smell, just churns me. I hope I go in my sleep at home where they just throw me and the mattress out and otherwise carry on. Like I don't want to go in a hospital or a old folks home or whatever. Like it's not how I want to go out. Like just as a forgotten vegetable, you know. Um, but everybody that was within realistic distance made it up there to basically like we're Methodists, so it's not like a last rites thing. But prayer was said, and everybody got to kind of get a minute to lean in and give kind of their goodbyes, and then I watched her soul leave her body. So that was something that he and I could always level with. Damn, why did the night have to turn so like dark? Justin, come on, say something funny. I know I need therapy, but I don't tend to do it out on the open internet. Damn. Groundbird, you want a link? It's in TMT's general chat. Just hop in, buddy. Like if you got 10 minutes to say hey, hi, tell us about your seeds and your exotic grains. Like we'll listen to that. You can clap back and tell us you don't agree with us about the top of the chat about getting shot for acting a fool. You seem pretty opposed to my delineation of thought the other night on TMT's chat. Crash and Kev said he saw a book called "Sorry, It's Your Turn: End of Life Planner." Yeah, I don't have any assets worth enumerating at this point in life, or I would. And I guess that's how you end up in my grandfather's position, is that you live that way for 60 plus years, and then at the end it turns out you do. I think that's how that probably happens. Is that you think, I don't have any assets worth enumerating, and it turns out you live long enough that like in whether you made wise investments or not, just inflation catches up with you, and lo and behold, you got something to show for. I think that's probably what happened, because he wrote that last iteration of his will when it was still basically barren land with an intention of building a home on it. And then come 20 plus years later, there's a damn house on it, and it's worth infinitely more than what he thought it would be.
Yeah.
Let alone all the tools and stuff. That's the other thing that chaps my ass, is that very hurriedly after his passing, certain relatives took more than thousands, but probably not more than tens of thousands of dollars worth of specialized carpentry tools. And being a carpenter, like you start taking something more than a basic table saw, it starts adding up. But a certain relative who's married to the woman that said, "But it's your inheritance," took many thousands of dollars worth of equipment out of the garage, that was the 2-car garage that was used as kind of a shop, as kind of the launch pad to build the home from. I shingled that building, by the way, at like 11 years old, 12 years old. So like he got to double dip. He got to like snatch all that he could stick in a truck and trailer before everybody went freeze. It's in probate. Then got a fourth of what all of that shit sold for. So he double dipped. So I don't feel bad in the least fucking bit that I got all the guns, because not a year ahead, but more than 8 months beforehand, I got a call on my birthday and said, "Hey, I was thinking you could have all these guns if you want." But because I was lazy and I didn't really have the space in my shitty 2-bedroom duplex I no longer live in, to just hop over and take them. Plus, it made me feel grimy. Like I hated that when my other grandfather was at the end of his life and only left me one gun. I told him I didn't need it until he didn't need it any longer. I borrowed it for a weekend to go shoot with some friends, and then brought it back clean. And they tried to offer it to me then, and I said no. Like, I don't need it till Pawpaw doesn't need it any longer. And I know he was old and crotchety, and he wasn't going to shoot anybody with it, but it was he's still a man, and he still had a house, so he still needed a shotgun. Was my thought. So I don't know. There was a point in what I was saying. I lost it though. I got all the guns. I don't even have them all under the same roof. My sister and brother-in-law have most of them because my brother-in-law makes infinitely more money and has a substantially stronger insurance policy and a infinitely better legitimate gun safe. So the ones that actually carry any monetary value are in his like legitimate gun safe, and then the others are just in a closet in the little metal lock box that was enough to keep kids out of it, kind of thing. So, which is the same that I have. I don't have a real safe, but
Yeah, after my dad passed, they wanted me to come up and go through go through all his things, and I bought him a truck a little while before he died. They wanted me to take his truck, and he had some guns and stuff. That was about the only thing of value was the truck and the guns. And I'm about 90% certain that one of my uncles took one of the guns before I got there, which kind of irritated me because if you just would have asked when I got there, I would have been like, sure. Like it's does each brother want something from this? But he took it upon himself to take it because I found a bunch of ammo for a rifle that didn't exist. So like, and my dad didn't have money like that. So unless he just found it or somebody gave it to him, maybe. But yeah, just weird, weird stuff happens when people pass away. It just
well, that was with his. Like my step grandmother, not completely understanding the legalities of gun ownership, let alone in a free state, was sincerely paranoid that if anything ever came of dubious end result with any of the make, models, and serial numbers that were in her home, she wanted like an itemized, detailed list for her records. So obviously, everything that was there, we wrote it down in triplicate, essentially. Like I went through it all and wrote down all the make, models, and serial numbers, and reassured everyone that was there, including my eldest aunt that was the executor, like this is all you need, and nobody here is ever ultimately responsible for what comes of any of these. Not that I have any immediate intention of parting with any of them, but like nobody here is responsible. But by the time we got done with it and then combed through the house again, while trying to also be respectful of it being her home, her boundaries, we didn't go through just pouring through every nook and cranny of her home. We kind of, outside of the obvious places where we should expect one to be, we let her poke around and look. But I know the two that are unaccounted for existed, and I know that he didn't part with them intentionally. So there's still two handguns out in the wind that I know he had, one of which I sold him. And I don't even care who has them, and I wish them the best with them. But like you say, if they just come forward and said, "Hey, I found this," and I went ahead and took it, like just so that I had an answer for where they went, so that I know, as the guy that's got to live the rest of my life in possession of all the rest of them, I wish I had that at least. Because one's a Taurus Judge, that's the one that I sold him, and I wouldn't want it other than that I sold that to him. The other was a Versa Thunder 380. That one, although they're a cheap, shitty pistol, he thought it was neat because it was all that he wanted out of a Walther PPK. To me, it had some sentimental value because that's the one that he passed the concealed carry class with. That he only got the license because I wanted him to go with me when I turned 21. But he passed it the first time with it, and then when we renewed, he got it the next time that I renewed. I didn't. He was far enough gone that I didn't want to like bring it up. I figured that was probably like just kind of let it go. So I slipped out there and renewed without mentioning anything to him. But at the point that they said that it was time to take his keys, I said, "Hey, I hate being the bad guy, but if we don't trust him to drive a car, it's time to take his guns." And it wasn't me trying to get the guns. It was just me admitting, like, hey, if you all don't trust him to like take off and drive across town by himself anymore, then he shouldn't have access to the guns. And my answer for it at the time was just get them all in the safe and take the keys away from him. It wasn't to take the guns out of the house. It wasn't to give them to anybody. And that took a whole lot of detaching yourself and being logical to give that answer. But at that point, my single greatest fear for him was that like he would have a lapse, like he'd have a moment where he didn't know who he was or where he was, and like a home health nurse or somebody be checking in on him, and he'd think that he was being home invaded, and then him get murked by the police. I didn't want that to happen, And I kind of think that's probably when those two pistols disappeared. Was probably they got found, and they got given away to somebody on her side to get them out of the house, because maybe she didn't know what the right key was. And like I say, 2 going on 3 years removed now, all that stuff doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't. And I don't harbor any ill will. But somebody dropped some other comments in the chat. I'm like super depressed over now. I didn't mean for this to be like the 3rd or 4th bout of the end of life chat. The woe's me. All of this is stuff that Pat and I have gone over multiple times before. And Justin, you hadn't even riveted or croaked in like 45 minutes.
Say something, Justin, or I'm going to start talking about my 50 acres again because I'm still really fucking excited.
I'm excited for you. 50 acres has so much potential.
And it's actually 55. When we started looking at the deed and stuff, like the listing said 50, but when you start looking at the deed and everything, it's actually 55. But 50 is easier to say. More round.
Well, I mean, what's 5 for pocket change? That's where you put the helo pad.
Sure.
The T-Rex
we're supposed to close. We just contracted our own title company, like the title company that the lender, the asset management company, whoever actually owns it. Hey,
Hey, what's up? Thanks for the
not
invite.
much.
How's everybody doing?
Well, better now that you're here.
Oh, you're sweet. Sorry, I'm late. I was talking to my brother. He was working. He's driving the truck, and he had like, I don't know, a couple hours to go. So he wanted someone to talk to until he got parked up.
I know that feeling. I mean, I had never rode a semi, but I know the sentiment.
Yep, that crew that trained up me and my wife, they were like that. There was like 3 or 4 of them. They would talk to each other for hours. And then when they got off the phone with one guy, they'd call another, and they would switch back and forth, just talking about, dreams of making their own trucking company and stuff. It makes a huge difference to keep your mind engaged. Stops you from getting sleepy at night for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's why usually I just be like, okay, I gotta go. But it definitely helps somebody. You're alone in the. I mean, now that I sit in a truck, not like him, like I just got a local job, but still, you sit in the truck by yourself, and I can kind of understand like when you're doing 400, 500 miles or whatever they do, it gets lonely. And it definitely just helps to stay awake and something to do, makes the time go by a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
So I stay on there and talk to him. Plus, he's my brother. So keep a good relationship.
You say that. I think this is going to be the year that I do better to stay in touch with and be involved in my siblings' lives and their
Well,
kids' lives.
I'd have to give that credit to him because he calls me. Like, I don't really call hardly anybody, but not that I don't want to or not want to talk to no one. I'm just quiet like that. I've always been kind of quiet, but I don't mind talking to him. So he takes more of initiative to keep in touch. But hell, I'll be working and we'll just sit there and talk. I'll Bluetooth to the truck and we'll just talk for hours, man. like Pat was saying.
So tell us, Groundbird, what's your take on the I forget the guy's name now
Pet,
that I want to say it.
Petty or
Uh,
Pretty or something like that.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's your take on that? Because you seem pretty spicy. You were on Nomad's side of things for the most part. It seemed like Sunday night when we were talking about all that.
Nomad. I don't know.
Gnostic Nomad.
Well,
He
oh
was in the comment section on the video
yeah,
previous to TMT going live, and then when he came in, he was pretty hot. We talked him down a little bit, but he was pretty
right.
salty about all that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Without getting canceled, I mean, I believe this was straight up murder. Now, whether he should have been there or not, or whatever, that's kind of a different story. Because I believe that you have a right to, just because you're practicing or carrying out your Second Amendment right, doesn't cancel out any of the other rights, whether you're for or against, whether you're there for participate in the riot or protest, whatever you want to call it. Just because it doesn't agree with me, whether I agree with what these protesters or rioters or the ICE is doing, whichever side you lean on, that doesn't cancel out anything as far as U.S. citizens having their rights. Now, there's a lot going to come out about it or whatever, but I mean, the videos I'm seeing, this was straight up unjustified. Unjustified. And that's just where I stand with it. And then everything coming out with all the Patel and the Noam lady or whatever her name is, and even Trump talking about just flip flopping on the side of you can't carry this there when it was 5 years ago when they were all for, you know, the you can do this or that, with the whole Rittenhouse thing. And I know those are different things, but it's very similar. It's just what side you're on the aisle of they shouldn't be there anyway. Well, it doesn't excuse their rights to carry out their amendment or, their constitutional rights. And that's just kind of where I stand on it. And this is different than the good lady. But just talking about the recent one, I mean, those guys were not in danger. They removed that gun, had him on the ground, and whatever confusion and all that kind of stuff, that was unjustified, is my opinion on it. And then the flip-flopping is just hypocritical and asinine to me. It's insane.
I don't think anybody here would disagree with what you just said. Your Second Amendment, because you're exercising your Second Amendment, it doesn't negate your rights to the First Amendment. I fully support him being there and armed. The only problem I have is when he interjected himself and started confronting the police. That was a bad call. To have a firearm on you and get involved with the police, that was the bad call on his part. I'm not excusing the police for what happened, but
Right.
I liken this more to like a bad car accident that takes out a family and a little kid or something. It's fucking tragic what happened. But what I've gathered from all this, they were tussling with the police. One of the guys got a hold of his concealed carry and said, he probably said something along the lines of, "I found a gun, I'm taking it." And then, like, with all the whistles and everything going off and all the commotion, like, I'm sure the guy that ended up shooting him heard gun. And then, as that guy was running away with his gun, there was some kind of discharge. That gun went off. From what you can see, that like a gun went off. So a guy hears the word gun and hears a shot, and it's fucking tragic and it's sad. But I don't. Is the guy going to get charged? I don't think so. I think in the eyes of the law, this is going to be. Originally, I didn't think this. Like, I thought kind of what you thought. Like, man, the cops are making it really hard to fucking lick boots these days. But from the way the legal standpoint looks, it might be a good shoot because it's been said in the case of like in the courts that you don't have to like an officer doesn't have to see a gun in order to shoot somebody. If they hear another officer say gun, that's good enough for their defense, their qualified immunity or whatever it is. So, like, I agree with almost 100% of what you said. Should that guy have been there and been armed? Sure. Can he be part of a protest while armed? Sure. Should you engage with the cops and like resist arrest? Fuck no, especially when armed. Like, stay far the fuck away from any kind of confrontation when you have a firearm on you. Like, I took pistol classes. That was one of the first things they said when you're concealed carrying. Do not be involved. Just do not be involved unless your life is in danger. Do not get involved. If the fight breaks out, leave. Unless your freaking brother or your mother is in the middle of it, try and get them out, I guess. But
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying, but in the video, the way I'm taking the video, him and that lady were standing there, he's recording or whatever, and that guy comes up and pushes that lady, like full lunge, two-handed push, whether she was calling them pieces of shit or whatever. They got bulletproof vest on. They can take fucking words. And then he's picking her up, and right after they push her, out comes the can of mace, and he's spraying him. And so the only resisting you could maybe say resisting, he's bent over, just preventing himself to be slammed on the ground, I guess. Call that resisting or whatever, but I'm not. It wasn't like he was fighting back at all. And they get him on the ground, 5 guys, 6 guys, whatever it was. They had control of that situation. And then when those shots come out, you can see them all back up. And that one guy is like backing up, shooting him while everyone else is backing up as well, like still firing as they're backing up away, like 10 shots. and he was already disarmed before he was on the ground. The guy in the gray coat pulled that gun out of his holster. Now, whatever they're confused, that's on them. I don't care if they're confused or not.
Okay, well, here's the whole thing. So you as a law-abiding, rightfully exercising, two-way supporting gun owner, okay? Like, to me, he fucked up, and he fucked up big time, because you know what? Like, you need to be smarter and do better. Okay, I'm not 110% defending what the guys did, but you know what? Like, he like he fucking like, dude, he escalated that whole fucking thing. He had
Yep.
no business getting involved the way that he did. Zero.
As soon as he jumped in there and stuck his hand up to that cop, that's when he interjected. That's what got him arrested.
He stuck his hand in the fucking fire. And you know what? Like, and then as far as, like we like how lawfully mentioned earlier, like, unfortunately they have this little thing called, like with the with qualified immunity. Okay. And like, like I've probably only said this 3 times. Like, I I hate sounding like I'm defending them, but it's like, the reason why I know all this is because I was a cop in the military, and like I was gonna be one when I got out and shit like that. Like, so I know the training that they've gone through, and I know, like, and it's freaking like it's the way it is. And like, there was already spoken out loud that, okay, there's a firearm. As soon as one shot rang, like, that's why everybody else drew. And how quick it is to pull that trigger, so that's why there was more than one shot. You know, that
I
just
mean, yeah, I hear you. And, like, it's just my opinion and they're like assholes. But what I'm seeing, and I agree, nothing's going to come of this. No one's going to be held accountable, whether I think it was fucking murder or not, or if 10,000 other people think it's murder or not. I don't believe anybody is going to be held accountable. Or if it does, not to what it should be held accountable for, but
yeah, you like
I still find it wrong as
was
all hell.
like yeah, I do believe, like yeah, I don't think it was a good fucking clean. I don't think it was a good clean justified shoot. No, I don't.
No,
But do I think that there was a lot of things that he fucked up in? Yes. Like he, like you shouldn't, even if you weren't carrying a fucking gun, you got no business out there screaming and yelling at law enforcement. It's same thing like if you get pulled over and it's a fucking bullshit ass pull over and everything. You know what? It's not your time to fucking, is on the side of the road isn't the time to freaking to raise hell about it. That's not the
yeah, I
time.
mean, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just, there's a time and a place for everything. Whether you believe that somebody's doing the right thing or wrong thing or whatever, and that's their job. Like, it's, it's freaking, it's just not wise. Like,
No, I mean, you're right, and I agree with all that. It's just so hard to, like, when, you know, do you stand up for what you think is right? Whether I agree with it or not, it's still his right to be present for something that someone believes in. My biggest concern is this boot that some may or may not think that's on us. I think there's always a boot on us in any administration, prior, 50 years ago, or 50 years ahead of us. But this boot that's on us now, that is attached to a torso with another boot behind them that's going to come right up. And now it's going to be that boot's turn. And it's just really scary on what we see going on and what we accept to go on and defend or
because
say didn't
I'm
do
I
this or that. And then it's going to come up and be biting everybody in the
yeah,
ass
I
because
understand,
now it's
because
going to be their
that's,
turn.
well, because that's how we kind of ended up in the situation that we're in, is because every time that we allow, I get what you're saying. It's like every time that we allow something to become normalized, or like we bow down and we accept something, then it becomes a
Yeah.
norm. And then next thing you know, they take a little more. Then they take a little more. Next thing you know, you're stripped of all these things, and it's fucking wrong. Like, oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's just freaking,
And
like,
yeah, I get you. And what's really scary is that what I mean, at least the enemy of the two-way has always been, in quotes, the Democrats. At least they say they're going to take your guns. Like now, to me, the mask or now they're showing you the cards they're showing you your hand, because they have totally flip-flopped on this. The people that are supposedly, in quotes, protecting our two-way, we support your two-way and all this kind of stuff. And now all of a sudden they're calling 20-round mags or 15-round mags high capacity ammo rounds, or whatever the fuck they said. And that's scary as fuck, because now the people that you thought protected your 2A were the only ones against the Democrats. Now it just turns out they're both two legs of the same fucking torso that want to take take your 2A rights equally, is what I'm seeing.
it's just proven that, like, like, basically, like, the people that have enough money to not have to fucking worry about that, like, they don't care. Like, it's a whole class structure, and it's just showing itself.
It's real scary, man. I mean, it's real scary to me now that it's like no party is protecting that, as long as it goes with the agenda they want to get done. I mean, it's
the trouble.
I don't know.
The trouble is the left isn't actually against guns. They don't hate guns. They're just anti you having guns.
There you go.
They want the government to have guns, not the average citizen. They don't want you to be a check on their ultimate power that they're reaching for. And it doesn't matter if it's the right boot or the left boot. There's still a boot on your neck.
Yeah.
And I see it. I see it. When's the last time you voluntarily paid taxes out of your paycheck? You don't think there's a boot on your neck? There's a boot on your neck.
I made a comment. I don't know if it was in TMT's chat the other day or not, but I mean, that's the enemy. And I mean, people say the leftists don't want you to have guns, but to me, it's looking like neither one wants you to have guns.
Well, nobody
and
in
I'm not
power
buying
does.
in.
Just like
Nobody in power wants you to have it.
That's why I like the
But
way
everybody kind of protects the right, saying that they protect our 2A, and it's obviously not. I mean, if you think that, it's kidding yourself. Even if I'm not about to say, well, this one protects it just a little bit more than the other one. Screw all that. You're either in it all or you're against it all. You know what I'm saying? And now it's really scary as far as I'm just not being it's the whole illusion of is gone now that they were protecting anything, because it's crazy. But what I was saying, but the enemy, I mean, just to see who your enemy is, just look at your pay stub. That's the enemy. And those colors are purple, and that's red and blue. In my opinion, But like I said, opinions are like assholes.
What I find funny is we have this right that's God-given, right? Right to defend ourselves and the right to speak our mind. The people in power, like, they want to cut off your hand. Like, I would say the Democrats, they want to cut off your hand. And the Republicans negotiate it down where they're only going to take 2 fingers. And they expect you to pat them on the back. Like, well, they were going to take your hand. Now it's just 2 fingers. It's like, fuck you. That's my hand. Those are my fingers. Because they're not getting their fingers took. It's mine.
Yeah, but yeah, it's insane. I mean, that's just my take, and I believe it's going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, it's going to get worse, and it's not going to get better because then we got the next 4 years, and then we got the 4 years after that, and so on and so forth till we're taken to wherever we believe we're going.
Yeah, the black pill I'm taking from all this is Trump has done some good things, and he's also done and said some really stupid fucking things.
He
Yeah,
The
fires
trouble
fucking
is,
Jeff.
the trouble is, all the good things that I agree with and I'm happy with, Trump has done through like executive order. You don't think on day one of the next Democratic presidency, the Gulf of America is going to be the Gulf of Mexico again? We're just going to give that up. Whatever
yeah,
hard fought, whatever it took to get the Gulf of Mexico to be changed to the Gulf of America. Like, go on Google Maps right now. What does it say? You don't think on day one they're
I
going to
mean,
undo that? And any of the things that Trump has done through executive order, they're probably going to wipe out with the very first executive order. Executive order number 1: undo all Trump EOs.
exactly, just like he did with all of Biden's. I mean, it's just a tit for tat kind of thing where nothing gets set in stone to make any positive change for anything. I mean, that's why I say he hasn't done anything because they're all, like you said, executive orders that are going to get right overturned by the next guy. And this whole like fighting for a team, I just don't like, or the situation we've been in since I've been paying attention to it, I guess, which hasn't been very long, but the past 3-4 administrations or whatever. But like, it's just been like my team's playing up to bat. These are the enemy, or these are the bad guys, and then the next team gets up to bat. Now we're going after them, and they're always just like this fighting each other, and we're all supposed to be like booing or cheering during those 4 years, depending on what side you're on. And I don't like that whole mindset of our political atmosphere that it's become. You know, it's I don't know, it's hard to swallow. I mean, I'm not the most well-spoken person, but it's
Well,
it's
it's
very
almost
frightening.
and it's almost like the founding fathers knew that that there's a problem when things start getting split into like parties. It's almost like they knew that that was all bad. Almost like they called it out.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like they called it before it even happened, huh?
I mean, I don't want to sound like black pilled or anything because I mean, I don't put myself out there as far as like social media and all this kind of stuff, or my opinions, or making my stances known, because I really believe we're on a downward spiral. There's no ever like we're going to get the country back type of thing, or whatever side you're on, whatever your viewpoint on, whether it be red or blue. Let's just use those. You know, whatever you think's best for the country. But I think it's literally on a downward spiral. So I just think more of like stocking my stuff and doing the best I can to prepare myself to protect me and my own type thing, instead of like, okay, I'm gonna go out there and help the, whatever I believe in take over, or, change this or that. It's just, to me, there's just no coming back from the shape we're in.
Well, and that's the thing. Conduct your business in daylight and be loud and proud about it. Because if you think we're at that point, but we're not beyond the point of no return, that's the only way we're going to get the country back is for the layperson, for the average citizen, to be outspoken. Because if not, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Or now that's the crazy liberal people that like to stand on every street corner, wave signs, and burn effigies of our president. So I'm not saying stand in front of federal agents and like get maced in the face and murked, but I'm not at all calling
Yeah.
for that. And I'm not
Yeah, I
saying
don't
stolen
want no.
capital. But if you can't stand to be counted in daylight, your silence is your own demise.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's, I mean, I hate saying, or I hate feeling like that. You know what I mean?
That's the
So
problem. Is
it's
the
kind of,
silent majority is what's got us here. And I've been waiting for a break in the conversation to acknowledge V. Good evening, Show Intel. Thank you for being here. She says if
but
we're at
yeah,
war, we'll be stuck with Trump till the ends. Somebody the other night was saying that they think that, oh, it was Backwoods. Backwoods on Sunday night's chat was saying that he didn't think that Trump was going to step down, that he was going to, that if we got into a war or that his lawyers were going to find a way for him to run for a third term. I don't think so. I think the man's trying to build his legacy in his final 4 years, and then I think that he will sail away in the night. I think he'll leave the
I
same
would
way that
agree
he
with
did.
that. Yeah,
Because if he were not going to leave uncontested, he would have done that the first term when he was screaming and crying, stolen election. But right there at the end, he shut his yap. He took that final flight from the White House on Marine One and set off the sunset to lick his wounds and circle back around for 2024. I think come
yeah.
election day 2028, he will, or inaugural day 2028, he will sail off into the sunset, and that'll be the end of his legacy. And I hope that nobody votes for any of his kids, because no more dynasties, no more Clintons, no more Kennedys, no more Trumps.
Agreed.
If
100%.
I was him, I would pardon myself and my entire family, my entire cabinet for the last 14 years for anything and everything. And then if I was him, if I was him, when I got on the airplane to leave the White House, I'd go straight to another fucking country that doesn't have extradition with the United States, because they're gonna fucking put him in jail. They're gonna figure something out. And you're like, well, all these other lawsuits and shit were all bullshit, and like don't make any sense, or don't have any basis in the actual law. Like, this is the unique first time anyone's ever used the law in this way. They don't care. Tim Pool says it all the time, and I don't think a lot of people realize this. You can just do things. Like, these judges and these prosecutors and stuff, they can just do whatever they want. And some lawyer is going to get on YouTube and be like, this is crazy. This has never been done this way. This is blah, 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 blah. What does it matter? It doesn't fucking matter, because you're in jail. And it doesn't matter, even if at the very end of everything, like, the Lady Justice steps in and is blind and you're exonerated, you're still been through fucking 10 years of this hell. So if I was him, I would pardon myself, my entire family, my entire cabinet for the past 15 years for anything and everything, and then I would leave the fucking country if I was him.
And it may happen. I mean, that's what Biden did. Yeah, almost pretty much did. Pardon everybody. Yeah. So if one, that's the risky thing. One does it, they're all going to do it. It's really sad. It's really just sad to me that that's even a thing, for one, because you should be responsible for your actions, and then the justice system should be blind like it's supposed to be. So I don't know. I'm just a dude in Missouri, so that just gets fed what I can see.
Missouri is possibly the second greatest state in the union.
I would agree with most of that, but I'd say it's the first.
If it weren't for my family staying in this area, I'd probably be going to Missouri, because the properties and stuff that I looked at out there, like, you could get a lot more for your money out that way. That's for sure.
I mean, every state's got shitty, you know, Kansas City and St. Louis. Yeah, they're shitty as far as like the control, but you know, what state doesn't have, you know,
Big cities that have shitty ass things going on.
yeah.
Almost every single state's got a couple of one or two freaking big cities that are just a fucking cesspool.
And you know, I don't want to be there anyway. It's just I'm not the big city kind of guy.
Missouri gets
Well,
me.
on that note, I think I'm going to split, guys. I got to get a shower and I got to go to bed.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's getting late.
It's almost
Yeah.
midnight for me.
All right,
That's the great thing
everybody.
about Missouri. It's only 11 here.
It is.
I already dozed off once during the chat. I ain't even gonna lie.
We wondered where you went for a while.
I was sleeping.
This is Lawfully Armed. Wishing everyone a fantastic Tuesday evening. Thank you for being here and listening to us banter. Tune in to Tactical Muffin Top Thursday at approximately 7 p.m. Central Time. Stay strapped or get clapped. Don't fight with the federal police. Stay hydrated and move more. Eat less and kiss your loved ones. Anybody else got sign-offs? Give it now.
Prep what you eat,
What you
then
said.
eat what you prep.
Do it all
Y'all
at the
be
same
nice.
time.
Yeah.
No, demand liberty, and thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
Anytime, Brownberg. We're
Demand
glad to have you.
demand liberty. I might steal that.
Yeah.
I stole it, so go ahead.
Justin, go for it. You got something.
Later.
Mahalo.
Don't be stupid. Make good decisions. Don't be stupid.
All right, everybody. Good night. Deuces. Oh, I was about to hit the wrong button. It's about to leave stage.